JA debates. So make sure that, oh, hold on, we are Maybe that's what it is. It still isn't capturing. Let's see. Yes, it is. Sorry about that, YouTube. But we should be good now. I am sorry about that.
Thank you, Benny boy. We love you.
Yeah, thank you, Benny. All right, but my best, what I would think would be good evidence for God.
Yeah, like out of all like the arguments that you've heard, what's like the strongest in your opinion?
Well, I'd say the strongest is going to be a deist God. It isn't going to be a particular religious God. It's going to be a mind that is greater than us that created things. And that's simply just because it's easy to disprove a God that has a book and a bunch of details about them that can be verified, because all you have to do is dismantle those verified claims.
So you might you so you're saying you might believe there is a higher power out there, but not necessarily a God, or
No, no, not at all. I don't believe in that either. I'm just saying that that's a better argument to go for a deist god, because then I can't pin you into a corner with exact nuances. Like the Bible gives characteristics to God, and if I can prove that them characteristics are not true, then I can prove that the Christian God does not exist. But a deist God is going to be like kind of obscure and hard to define.
so where does that? If you said that's like the strongest argument that there is, like the deist God, then where does that argument fall short for you?
There's no evidence. It's the same as somebody trying to prove to me that there's a tooth fairy. I'm gonna say no, there's no tooth fairy, and they're gonna say how, and I'm gonna say the same reason I'm gonna say there's no God, and they're gonna say how. I'm gonna say the same way that you can look at me and tell me there is no Santa Claus, the same way you can tell me there is no tooth fairy, no boogeyman, and the list goes on and on. It's just there's no evidence that those things actually exist.
Okay, so you just don't know, is what it comes like. You just don't know how we got here, basically.
Oh, I have a good idea of how we got here through abiogenesis and evolution.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. There's no harm in being a Christian. There's.
Oh, that ain't
There
true.
is. There's a lot of harm.
Do you think it's wrong to be LGBTQ?
Do I think it's what?
Wrong to be part of the LGBTQIA plus community?
I mean, I wouldn't want to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't want to, tell people how to live their lives or anything, but it's not something that I would want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, do you think it's wrong? Can you answer the question, though? Do you think it's wrong?
Yeah, I do think it's wrong.
Okay, so if a bunch of people thought that your mere existence was wrong, would you think that was harmful to you?
If a lot of people thought that it was wrong,
that you existing as you are is wrong, would you think that's harmful to you?
Yeah, I mean, I can put myself in the other shoe.
Yeah, so it is harmful.
Yeah. Well,
it is harmful justice.
if there was, not necessarily just in the fact that they thought it was wrong, but if there was things that they did to prevent me from, living my life, then that's where it would be wrong.
Yeah, so do you think it's okay for Christians to vote for anti-gay or trans rights? Like bills that would stop marriage for them and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. And if the people don't want it in the state, then they're just going to vote out their representatives.
Yeah, don't think it should be a state issue. I think human rights should not be a state issue.
Yeah, and I think that's my whole point, Justice, is if we're getting to a point where religion is causing harm to groups of people, then yeah, it is harmful to be religious. If you are somebody who is religious and just keep to it to yourself and don't expect others to follow your moral code that comes from your book, then I don't. I mean, there's no problem with that. But the problem is that's not what's happening.
And would you kind of accept like the fact that you could be wrong? There could be a God, right? There's a possibility of that, right?
Yeah, there could be a God. It couldn't be the Christian God, though.
Well, you don't know.
No, I do.
No, we do.
It's falsifiable through the Bible itself.
Well, I mean, you know, when you go one day, you could find out that yeah, there is a Christian God.
No,
It's
I can't.
It's a possibility.
It is not.
It's logically impossible.
How's it logically impossible?
All right, so the Christian God is all-knowing, correct?
Yes.
Then how come he makes claims that are untrue within the Bible? He says that rock badgers chew cud. Yahweh himself says that, and that's not true. We know that. Scientifically, we know that rock badgers do not even have the capability of chewing cud, let alone do they chew cud. So why would Yahweh, if he is all-knowing, say something that is scientifically inaccurate?
Yeah, I don't know that specific verse, but I do know that a lot of the stuff said in the Bible, you don't take it at face value. There's a lot of deeper meaning to these things. But again, I don't know that verse, so I'd have to look. What did you say it said again?
Yeah, it says rock badgers chew cud. It says, for as the rock badger chews cud, even though it does not have split wolves, it is still unclean. Because it's during the laws, when he's saying that what animals are good to eat and what animals are not good to eat, it says that rock badgers and rabbits do as well, and neither of them do. Yahweh says that bats are birds, and we know
Can
that.
Can I ask him a question real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
Why is it when we show you Christians a contradiction or an inaccuracy, right away you jump on, well, sometimes the Bible is not meant to be taken literal or whatever, but when it's make laws against the make laws that are anti-LGBTQIA, you never say that verse is taken out of context.
Well, I don't think they talk about LGBTQ in the Bible. I mean, I don't. Right? They don't talk about that.
Well, yeah, I would agree that the way we see homosexuality today is not talked about in the Bible. It's just the mere act of homosexual sex that is talked about in the Bible. It's not like relational. I would agree with you.
I mean, I believe in like I guess what's talked about more is like the traditional, household, and deviation from that would be, gay.
How do you know that wasn't metaphorical or just a story? Why is it only the things that are inaccurate is what I'm asking you? When we show you this shows a contradiction, this shows a historical inaccuracy, right away you say, oh, well, things could have been translated different. It could be context. It could be this. It could be that. But if it's anything that gives you warm, fuzzy feelings, you go, oh, no, that is what it means.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I don't know that specific verse or,
I know, but can you address what I'm asking you? Why do you guys do that?
I mean, I don't do that. All that I know is that in the Bible, there are deeper meanings.
You know that we can tell what the literary device that they are using when we are reading because we know how to read, right? Like I know when they are telling me something that they want me to believe is historical versus when they are using a metaphor versus when they are doing a parable because I have reading comprehension skills. I learned them in elementary school.
Okay. And
So then stop saying that. If you didn't even know what the verse is, why would you come out with, yeah, but I don't know the context of that or anything? It's God telling you what to eat or not to eat. And saying that is very disingenuous. It's like, instead of realizing that, oh, maybe there are some inaccuracies in a 2,000 plus year old, book that was first verbal and whatever, and it's been translated. You're going to use those excuses to say that we can't disprove your God, but in the same sentence, you'll say that it proves God. Do you understand how it's like it's a hypocrisy thing?
I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to, their own belief, I guess, in what they believe in.
That's not a question. Of course, we know that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know that verse. I'm not familiar with that, so I have to look into it more. All that I was saying was that, you can't just take the words literally in the Bible.
There's a verse in the Bible where Jesus says, "Let he who's without sin cast the first stone." Have you ever heard of that verse?
Yeah.
Did you look into that one more deeply?
A little bit. I mean, I don't know.
You should look at that one more deeply because it wasn't there originally. And that's what I'm talking about. If something makes you feel good, you guys don't look at it more deeply. You don't ask questions, and you don't say that we need to learn the context. But if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you go, context, I need to look into more deeply. It could be translation or whatever. Do you understand how you're doing that?
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't know.
Okay. You should look into all of it more deeply.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's a lot of mistakes in it.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. There are a lot of mistakes. It's a scholarly consensus. There are contradictions, anachronisms. Yes, there are.
Well,
to look into all of it more deeply, not just the parts that don't make you feel good.
Did you ever believe in God?
For over 40 years.
Oh, you did? And then
Yep.
what was the turning point? Because, I mean,
I looked into it more deeply.
Why didn't you look into it more deeply like 30 years ago? Why was
I thought I was doing it right. I was indoctrinated. Do you know what happens when you're indoctrinated? It's basically a brainwashing technique that people do by teaching children something at a very young age and constantly putting it in their head, using fear tactics, using just all types of brainwashing techniques to make you believe something. And I was indoctrinated since I was 3 years old into the church. And I did what I was told to do because, well, one, I'm a woman, so don't question those men, okay? And that's what I was taught to do. But when I finally realized, hey, a lot of this just doesn't make sense to me, and people aren't answering my questions. People are telling me things that don't sound like they make sense. I just started realizing that I needed to look elsewhere. I needed to see what the opposing views were to my religion. And when I found out that there was this, like it was totally an appropriation of a totally different religion for totally different people at a totally different time, and that so many of the stories were taken from areas around the Mesopotamian area, the Canaanite area. So I was like, what did I believe in? This is crazy. And I just kept digging and digging and found out, oh, it's just not true. It's just not a true story. It wasn't meant for me in the first place.
Yeah, Justice, I would suggest going and looking into some of the things that we've presented, because I don't feel like, I just don't feel like any of this was compelling. But Justice, thank you for being here. You are young. I suggest you go look into it.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Yep, see ya.
You too. Thanks for being here, Justice.
Guys, thanks for being here. Keep tapping them likes. Let's try to get to 10K. Mr. 8, I'm going to bring you up, but then we just stay on mute for a minute here. mute for a minute here. You have a very bad echo.
So you need to swipe out of the app and go to like just a different app, Mr. 8 Seconds or whatever, and then come right back, and then it should get rid of the echo when it's time for you to come off mute.
Acme Hero, thank you for the $2 super chat. It says, preaching hell is child abuse. I agree. I believe that if you're teaching a kid that they're inherently bad, you are abusing your child. You're giving them mental health issues down the line. And Guy Fawkes, teaching LGBTQ in school is not the same as teaching Christianity, because being LGBTQ is a reality. Being a Christian is teaching kids to believe in fairy tales. Two totally different topics. But Mr. 8 Seconds, what is your age and are you a Christian?
I'm 18 and yes, I am.
All right, what is your best evidence for the Christian God?
Okay, so I have 7 reasons why I think he's real.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, let's go one by one.
Okay, number 1.
Go ahead.
So number 1 is I don't believe in God because he does things for me, but because of the order and design of the cosmos has to point to a creator.
Order and design has to point to a creator.
What is your evidence for that?
My evidence for it, let me find it real quick. Because I have like a book right in front of me that I jot down all my stuff.
Okay.
Because it's more the anthropic principle that life is based on a razor's edge. And to say it all happens by chance, and it's more reasonable to say that life comes from life and not from non-life.
You just made another claim, but you didn't say why.
Yeah, there was no evidence there. It was just another claim. Do you have any evidence to provide for either of those claims?
For evidence to say that God exists?
No, for evidence that order and design have to be from a creator. And then your next claim was, I can't remember what his next claim was, but first you have to address why order and design has to be from a creator.
Okay. So the order and design of the cosmos, if it's without a creator, how could it have happened?
Well, now you're just burden shifting. You're the one making the claim.
That's just out of the gaps.
Yeah. So now what you have to do now, since you made the claim that the cosmos and its design points to a creator, the burden of proof is on you. You made a claim, give us the evidence. I'm not going to make your case for you. Okay? That's not how this works. What it is you make a claim, you defend your claim, and then we can talk about it. But you're going to have to defend your claim before I will engage with your claim.
Yeah, I'm saying it all happened because it can't just poof. It can't just poof and be there.
No, nobody says that it does. Nobody says that it does.
That's what you believe, though. You believe God would make earth and poof, it came from nothing, literally nothing. He just said it. We don't believe that. You do.
But I don't have 100% evidence for it. I can't provide that to you.
Right.
You
so
can't
it doesn't have to be from a creator. So your first premise is wrong. Do you want to go to your second one?
Then? What would it come from then?
A million things.
Yeah, I would say that time, space, and matter are eternal, and it goes through a cyclical process that is full of crunches and expansions, and there's there's an infinity amount of universe cycles that have happened before us and will happen after us, and we are just a small blip in infinite time.
So you're saying
a unicorn farted and we were created. So it could have been that too.
So you're saying there's out of all the chances, there's that small chance that magic, or not magic, but all that cosmic dust created the complexity of humans.
What do you think chances are that there is a God who did everything? Why do you think that the chances are bigger that there's a God than things have been eternally here?
Okay, so there's this little chance that God doesn't exist. I'm gonna say that. There's a little
there's
chance.
A big chance God doesn't exist.
Yeah,
because
so-
we never have seen him. But every time we have asked a question, we have been able to use science to prove that everything has occurred naturally. Not one time during all the history of man have we ever been able to prove anything magical or miraculous happens. All we've been able to prove is that natural things occur.
Okay, so I'm just saying that it's a big chance that there is a ultimate being that created us all.
Okay, so how does that get...
You have not proven your first point, and I think that you should tell us what your next one is.
Yeah, let's go on to...
You're not proving that there has to be a creator. You're just saying it over and over again.
All right.
Yeah, you just move on to your second point.
That God exists is because y'all know who Jesus is, right?
Yep.
I've heard of him.
Okay. So Jesus died on the cross. 3 days later, he rose. Yep. And after a period of 40 days, he appears to 500 people who see him at different places and times, risen from the dead.
Wait, I gotta write this down. Wait, let me write this down. You're going too fast. Yeah, so according Jesus died. Okay, and then 3 days later, 500 people saw him, right? And then what else did you say?
500. Over 500.
Okay, over. Okay, I'll put over. And then what?
They see him at different places and times.
They see him at different places. Oh.
Can you name one person that saw Jesus risen from the dead that wrote about it?
Paul.
Nope, he didn't. He saw a light. Even Paul's own admission, or in Acts, Paul never says that he saw anything. Only Acts claims that he saw something. Mr. 8. Mr. 8.
Somebody told him.
How about you shush for a second and let me finish? Paul never speaks that he was on the road to Damascus and turned to God because he saw this magical light that spoke out and said it was Jesus. The only thing that says that is the book of Acts. And in the book of Acts, it never says he saw Jesus. It says he saw a bright light. And he heard a voice from that bright light. So, he did not see the resurrected Jesus. So can you point me in the direction of somebody who saw the resurrected Jesus?
Let's see. I think Matthew did, and Peter. No. Peter, I think.
Matthew never wrote, and Peter did not write about seeing the risen God either. Do you have somebody that wrote about seeing the risen Jesus that saw him?
Hold on, give me a second.
Like, obviously, if he went to different places, there's got to be people who are not even in the Bible who wrote about it, right? Like in some of those other cities. Maybe we could find somebody in history who wrote about seeing dead people walk around. Do you think that there's any of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
There's not.
Let's see. Preaching to the gospel.
Paul said that somebody told him.
Most of whom are still alive, through some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, then to all of the apostles.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so you're not listening, Mr. 8. Paul did not see Jesus risen. Paul claiming that there were 500 people that saw Jesus risen doesn't mean it's true. I can say I saw Jesus risen. That does not mean it's true. So what you have to do is now show me somebody, anybody that wrote that said they saw the risen Jesus. Show me one example of that.
Paul wrote about it. He got it from James and all of the apostles.
Nope. Absolutely wrong. So now you're going to have to show me. That is not answering my question. Name one person. Mr. 8.
Mr. 8,
name one person that wrote about seeing Jesus rose from the dead.
So here's what here's what we're asking you, Mr. A. Okay, let's say you told me that you met Taylor Swift. I know you don't care, but let's say you did, okay? And I am telling you, okay, I want you to tell me about it. But what you're doing is giving me some guy that heard from another guy that you saw Taylor Swift. I don't want to hear from that guy. I want to hear from the actual person who literally saw Jesus walk around after he was resurrected.
Okay, so let's say this.
From their
say
mouth.
I have 12 friends with me, right? And I say I saw Taylor Swift. If all 12 of them said that I saw her, would you believe them?
All 12 of them didn't do that, though. All 12 of them did not say that they saw Jesus walking around. Not one of them said it.
Yes,
and
they
when
did.
Paul, can I finish? And when
He
Paul
literally said he appeared to he appeared to James,
none
then to
of
Paul.
them
apostles.
said they saw it.
Paul
None
is
of
the
them did.
Oh, Mr. A, this is making me feel like you do not have the capacity to carry a rational conversation. Because we've literally explained we've literally explained this to you 10 times. You're gonna have to quit crashing out. Listen, we've explained this to you. This is your last chance. This is your last chance. Is there a single person that wrote about themselves seeing a risen Jesus?
Paul.
Okay.
Paul did
Well-
not
Oh
see
my
it
gosh.
was Jesus.
Okay.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
if you cannot answer simple questions, if you cannot understand simple questions, this is not the place for you. And just over here for a second, this is not meant to... What I was telling to the last guest is in no way trying to disprove God. He made claims. I was making him back up his claims, and he couldn't back up his first two claims. Maybe next time he can come back and have a new list. Jojo, are you an atheist or a Christian? I'm going to bring you up, but if you are an atheist, I'm probably not going to keep you up long. Joe, are you a theist? And are you over 18?
I am over 18 and I am a theist.
Oh, okay. What is your best evidence that the Christian God does exist?
Are you familiar with the causality argument?
What year were you born?
I was born in 2005. We're good?
What's a W for?
Man, I don't know, but
Yeah, you're not over 18. I'm sorry, Joyful. He was trying to change his voice and I could hear it. He was going,
No, that's fine. I was wondering that myself. He said he was 18 and he was born in 2005, which is not... He'd be 20. Vatagram...
Believing it's the terms of service on TikTok. We can't talk to children. Maybe Christians talk to other people's children, but we don't do that.
Yeah, we don't like to hang out with children. Vitagram, are you a Christian and are you over the age of 18?
Yes, I'm a Christian and I am freshly 18, 07, 06, 25.
Right on.
June 25th, 2007.
Right on.
June 25th. All right.
Okay, what is your
We got
best evidence for the Christian God?
Math.
Math. Okay, what about math?
That's a new one.
Okay, so not just God, a creator. So tell me how there's design in a flower and how there's math in a flower. Who put that
Because
there?
math, you are aware that math
He's laughing,
is just...
but who put that there?
Vitagram, you are aware that math is just a description of reality. That's all it is.
But who? No, it's not.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, it's way bigger than that.
Oh, absolutely not.
Have any
Math
adults
is
doing
literally just a language we use to describe reality.
Hard. But explain how there's design.
Everything has measurement,
our-
so everything has math, you goofball. Like, I can't believe I have to tell you this. If something exists, I can measure it. If I can measure, math is involved. That's everything in all of existence. Math does not prove God. Math proves math.
Math proves math.
Mhm.
Yes, what are you talking about?
So a
Everything-
flower having
I'm
math
sorry?
doesn't prove
What are
God?
you talking about?
No, because all that means is it's measurable. Everything within reality is measurable. Do you understand that?
According to our knowledge, who put it there?
It's all just from natural processes.
How can we know it's measurable?
Because we can
measure it.
see
Like,
it
if-
and we can measure it.
Like, how
Dude,
do you
if
know
it's something
that
random,
you?
we can't. All right.
What? So, you know how there's like laws in physics, laws that natural laws, and that's why we are where we are. There's so that's the same with math. It's a natural law that things are measurable. If they're not measurable, then they're just a concept. They aren't within reality. It's just like math is not a real tangible thing. Math is a
Outside of reality, who put it there?
what's
So if
outside
it's
of
out-
nothing is
Put
outside
it
of reality.
there. There's nothing.
Math
if it's
is
outside of reality, it's
I never said that. No, it's
illogical.
not.
Infinity is outside of reality.
No, infinity
it's
is
not.
definitely within reality.
I can't. This is ridiculous.
Everything is in like the universe. So time, space, and matter are infinite. We know that time has to be infinite. Therefore, infinite is within reality.
Infinite is within reality.
Yep.
It's a
I
very
guess.
hard concept to grasp. Hey, you guys, tap the screen, okay? It's a very hard concept to grasp, but it is within reality. That's just ridiculous. Of course it is.
I mean, I get we'll never know, right? But the fact that we can outline things and there's design behind things and math is a structure that was put into place not by us. We can just study it and understand it. Dude,
It's just a language and a concept.
you're telling me that a triangle without like it wasn't there before we discovered it?
No,
Like,
it
wasn't
was.
created
It
before we
was,
discovered
but that is a
we
thing.
just named it.
That is a thing within reality. We named something a triangle. The things that are like a pyramid, if you look at one side of it, it is a triangle. There are things that we would consider triangles within nature, but that doesn't mean triangles existed because that's a word that humans created.
But like then it's like math gets way more complex, bro. It's not just like these things cannot go unnoticed. Like it's we are genetic code, right? We are made up of 6 billion. Like it's there before we discovered it. We just discovered it.
Okay,
Like,
so let me ask you a
telling me-
question.
Right, that's
Let-
what
telling
science
me-
does.
Let's
You're
talk.
telling me
Finds
our
things, it
discoveries
means it measures
are
it.
something we just create?
Yes.
That our discoveries are something we create.
No, concepts are like math is a concept. It is something that we have created to describe the world around us. Logic, same thing. It's a concept we created to describe the world around us. We have discovered laws that work, and that is the language we use to describe those laws that work within reality.
Within reality, but I'm saying
There's nothing outside of reality.
why can we explain reality with language and mathematical like terms and
Because
rules,
that's how we've figured out that works.
or that's how we were designed, because there is a creator and he put into place a language and he put into place numbers.
Okay, so
And he also put into place we can go on. He put into place.
So we are
us,
genetic. Okay,
animals.
that's cool. Your rambling's no good to us here. All right, so genetic code. Let's go back to that. So genetic code. You think that genetic code, like we have DNA, so that leads to a designer?
Well, no. Why are we the most complex code? Like, we can't. If you put
don't know if we
our
are
so
yet.
right, if you put our code on a graph, on a line, a bar graph, isn't it 6 billion lines long or something?
Yeah, but do you know the problem with that? If it was a designer, why would we have so much encoding when we only use 8% of that coding? There is 92% of that coding is useless.
Because that's the
Hold
whole
on,
point of the Bible.
Vatagram,
Vatagram.
92% of that is useless information within our DNA. Why would a designer put
I would argue it's not.
92% useless
Frequency.
information if he was designing
Also,
our
another mathematical term, frequency. How I explain frequency. I would argue that we can use the other 92% through frequency.
Nope, that's not true.
Okay. So
you're a scientist now? You
No,
study
I'm just what I've read.
by you're a biologist and you understand how
No, but there's obviously Sigmund Freud knew that frequency. I don't know.
The frequency, what?
Never mind.
Listen, I think that you need to do a lot more studying. I think you should go read a Carl Sagan book. Maybe go, I don't know, just do a little more studying.
we've got a lot of young guests tonight. If there's anybody
We do.
if there's anybody out there in the chat that would like to come up, come on up, but make sure that we have some people that can keep a conversation. It keeps everybody more
Danny,
engaged. And
are you coming up or are you just saying hi?
yeah, do you want to come up, Danny, Tobia? If you want to come up, put a 1 in the chat and we'll bring you up. Hello, God is the best you got. Hello, God. Is this the best you got? Yeah, I don't know if this is the best. No, do not get Q-Top in here.
No, don't do that. Hey, everybody over on YouTube, I'm in the chat. If you have something you want me to read, go ahead and tag me and let me know.
Hello.
And
Mind behind things and that
Danny.
Yes. Not by us.
Yeah, are you a Christian and what is your age?
I was raised Christian.
But you're no longer?
Wait, hold on.
Danny, you with us?
I wonder if he was trying to turn off the TV or radio or whatever was playing in the background.
You know what it was? I originally found you guys on YouTube, and it was that app playing in the back. I switched over to TikTok after I saw you.
Right on. So you're no longer a theist?
I wouldn't say I'm no longer. I really struggle with that a lot, to be honest with you. I go back.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. What would you say, just for conversation's sake? I'm not going to try to debate you since you're just kind of
no problem.
But what is
might
your?
Get into that. I have no problem with that. It's all. I'm hearing good faith.
Okay, so what keeps you wondering if maybe there is a God? I guess would be my question for you. I'm surprised Fredo hasn't tried to come up.
Greg.
Oh, I spoke too soon. There he is. Give us a minute here, Fredo.
I don't know how long I'll let Greg stay up here. He was so rude to Daniel Green. He was so rude to him.
Is his name really Greg?
Yeah.
Is that the Greg that was up here earlier with a different name? No, I don't think so.
Well, his name really is Greg. He said it last night.
Oh, okay. Hopefully Danny can get his stuff figured out. I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Fredo, I know that you're over 18, and you are a
Hammy.
Christian. Can you give me your best reason that points to the Christian God's existence?
Well, I can give you what makes me believe, but it might not make you believe. I was just curious because you said God does not exist up on here. So are you making the positive claim, or is that just your belief?
The Christian God does not. I'm making a positive claim that the Christian God does not exist. Yes.
Okay, so you can prove it then.
Yeah, I can prove it through logical basis, or I could show you through scripture how this God can't possibly exist within the framework that Christians have made for this God.
Okay, could you go for it?
Okay, which one? You want to go through logical or...
Anything you like.
Okay, so we'll start with this. Do you believe that God is all good? As a Christian, would you believe that that is a foundational belief in the God? Is that he's all good and all knowing?
Yeah, but we have to identify what is good. So you have to identify what is good for you to make any counterclaim. Yes.
Okay, for you to say that he's all good, now you have to, because you said he's all good. So you're the one that made the claim that he... No, Fredo, you made the claim that he's all good. You're the one that made the claim. So you describe what good is, since you're the one saying he is all good.
No, you asked the question.
Fredo, yes, I never said he was not all good, Fredo. I never said that.
You can make a claim for the positive, or you can make the...
This is what you do on every live.
Greg,
just relax. It's okay.
Greg, if you say relax one more time, I'm just dropping you.
Why are you calling me Greg?
Stop it.
My name is Fredo.
Because that's your name.
No, it's not.
Your name's Greg.
You don't know that.
I heard you.
I never said. Good on you.
Yes, you
Congratulations.
did. You were on Daniel Green's show. I heard you.
If I misquoted,
okay?
My name is Fredo up here.
If he
I appreciate you
asks you
calling
a
me
question
Fredo.
and you make a positive claim, then you have to back up your claim.
Christian J, I'd appreciate if you call me Fredo. That's my name on here. I'd appreciate it.
Fine.
Respectfully.
I will call you Fredo from now on, but you will answer his question now.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Do you think you're in your household or something?
You are in my household.
Fredo.
Yes.
You said that God is all good. What do you mean by God is all good?
If you actually heard what I said, you asked the question and I said, well, you would have to define what good is before I answer if God is.
Now you're yes, he's all good.
Yeah, now you're being Fredo, now you're being dishonest because you said yes, he is all good, and then you said to make a claim to the contrary, you would have to define what good is. That's what you said. You made the claim. I never made a claim to the contrary. Fredo, I never made a claim to the contrary.
Because I said you didn't hear what I said. I said, so you would have to define. I said, what is good? What is good? And then I said, yes, I do believe he is good. And then you would have to define what good is based on your paradigm. That's what I said.
No,
you might have said that, but that's not the rules. You said, yes, God is all good, and we're telling you.
So you have to define what good is.
You don't get to tell us to define good.
See how you play games? See how you play games?
No, you are burden shifting. Do you know what burden shifting is?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I said to you, you would have to define what good is. And then I said, yes, I do believe he's good, but then you would have to, because that's what I said before. Go back to the recording.
You define good or we're not moving on.
I said, so what is good?
You can just leave.
Literally
define
said beforehand.
Define it or you can leave. Define
literally
it or you
before.
can leave.
Yeah, of course.
Literally
you want to dodge. You want to run.
Or leave.
You can run. You can run. You can run.
We're not
That's
running.
Okay.
Everybody in chat, put a 1 in the comments. Is this
they all
if
follow
this is
you.
Fredo
they
running like he always
it's
does?
A biased
put
chat.
a 1 in the comments if Fredo is running like he always does.
It's a biased chat.
Tell
of course they're going to say 1. It's a biased chat. They follow you.
I know. You always say that too. You cry about everything, Fredo. You've won no debates. You've done nothing. You brought nobody to the Lord.
Here to win debates.
All you do is
I'm
cry.
not here to win debates. I'm not here.
Yes, you are. I've watched you on like every creator's live. You totally think you're trying to win something.
No, I'm not trying to win anything.
So hard to bait Daniel. It was so disgusting watching you do that to the nicest man on the app. The nicest man on the app.
The gaslighter. The gaslighter.
See what he's saying about Daniel? He's calling him a gaslighter.
Well, you reckon he didn't
Daniel
gaslight
would ask him questions.
Daniel totally cooks him every time, and he freaks out.
Did you go to the recording? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I have it pulled up right here, Fredo, but you won't shut the fuck up so I can play it.
Okay.
I'll shut
You
him
say
the
yes.
fuck up.
All belief in the God is that he's all good and all knowing.
Yeah, but we have to identify what is good. So you have to identify what is good. But you don't make any counterclaim.
To make it a counterclaim, I have to define what good is. That was your claim, and I said no. In fact, that falls on you, Fredo, because you said he's all good. So it would be up to your discernment of what good is for you to make the claim that he's all good. So now you get to tell me what all good is.
God.
Okay, that is not descriptive.
No, God is all good.
That's
what God is.
circular.
That's what good is.
That's so circular.
What? No,
Is
no,
God
no, no.
good?
What's
Yes.
circular?
What is good? God.
No,
That is so ridiculous.
What's circular?
Hey,
I didn't make the claim.
really
Hang on.
got
What
high the other
is
day.
good?
God is all good. Everything God
What
does is good.
is
That's
good?
circular.
I just explained it to you.
Okay.
Everything.
You know, Danny's
He
ready
cannot
if you
engage
wanna
in
move
a
on.
single conversation.
He
Oh, he
couldn't
drives
do
me
with
nuts.
Daniel.
I don't know why I brought him up. I don't. I regret it every time. He just cannot actually engage in a good faith conversation. Run. That isn't running. That is just keeping my sanity is what that is.
Yeah. That Danny guy said he was ready to come back up. Is he not in the box? Danny, if you're ready to come back up, make sure you jump back in the box. Danny,
It is
Tobia?
very nice to have Crystal back with us again, guys. She is back, and she will be here next Monday with a co-host. I'm not sure who her co-host is. She's figuring that out. But she will be here next Monday, just her and a co-host. I will not be here. I'll be in the chat, but I have other things going on. Rod, what is your age? Or are you over 18, and are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm 43. I was raised in a Christian home, but I just really wanted to come up and say one thing about the last guest to explain the logic behind the God is good thing, and then I'm going to leave.
Okay.
So pretty much when they define the circular logic of define good, and then they use God as the definition or the descriptor of that term, what they're saying is that whatever God does is defined as good. So if God wants to do something like create a tree, then that is good. And if God wants to flood the world and kill people, then that is good too, because God is doing it. So it doesn't make sense logically, but that's how they understand the framing of what good is.
Oh, yeah. I know, but if they would... I guess my problem is they want people like me to have definition, and they never will take on any of the onus on themselves. So it gets very old
Right.
talking to people like Fredo. But I appreciate you, Rod. You have a great night.
No problem. Thanks.
W. Rod.
Is there anybody in the guest box right now?
I don't think so.
Okay, while we're waiting, I'll tell you what happened. So, Fredo was asking Daniel, like, what would happen if something happened so that... Oh, Danny is raising his hand again. Is he in there now?
I don't know that he can figure out how to.
Oh,
I
I
sent
can't
him an
invite him
invite.
for some reason. Okay, you got him. Okay. Hey, Danny.
Hello. Hi.
All right.
How are you?
So, pretty good. So, what? I think where I left off was asking you what, like, kind of evidence keeps you wondering if the faith, or if deist belief is maybe right.
Probably it's probably my observation of what I consider evil.
Okay. Can you explain a
So,
little further?
well, yeah. Why don't we go over what you spoke about with like the previous two callers, and maybe that'll lead into some kind of back and forth so we can
Okay.
get a little further.
Yeah.
Number one, the first caller that I heard, it. So I think that math may be the language of God, right? That actually may be the language of God, and then in order to, and like you said, it's an explanation of reality, which I also agree with completely. I have no disagreements with that. If we take that back to its furthest point, right, we're going to end up at what what science would call the Big Bang, or what religious would call creation, right? Which to this point neither of us can explain. So let's go past that initial moment for a second there, right? Because
Mhm.
I don't think there's concrete science on the Big Bang, at least from what I can read, and creationists, their view on the world has basically the same claims, right? We can't
Do you think
truly
that we
identify
think
the
that the
origin.
Big Bang is the start of the universe?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, we don't, and nobody thinks. I mean, no scientist thinks that either. So it's not a
Okay.
comparison. The Big Bang is not our thought
So
process.
so what is? So I can clarify. And I meant no
The
disrespect by
the,
that.
the universe is eternal.
Eternal.
Yes,
So there is no start.
that's correct.
There's
I,
only a
I I might not be smart enough for for this conversation. I'm
well,
gonna be honest with you because go
well.
ahead.
So the Big Bang is the start of the observable universe we see today. Okay, we
Okay.
were in the singular point, and then it started to expand. But the eternal regression of states would just be for time, space, and matter. And what state that is,
Oh,
it's hard to say. Some people think it's
correct.
cyclical and has crunches and expansions or whatever, but there's no reason to believe that there was ever once nothing or any type of voidness to the universe. There's no science that would
Exactly.
lead us
Fair,
there.
fair enough. But in either event, we're talking about observable reality, which
Mhm.
brings us both to the same point, right? Whether it's by intelligent design or in your perspective, that would be the Big Bang. That would start observable reality. Can we agree on that? Or
Observable,
whatever
yes.
or whatever event
Observable.
you believe started what we now consider observable reality.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I could go there.
Crystal seems like she's a little bit. It's a little dubious. Do you have anything
Well,
to
that's
add?
because I think that it depends on what you mean. I'm not going to get into semantics. Go on.
Okay. Oh, okay. So and then you started talking about do you believe that God is good? Okay, fine. And then the definition of good, which obviously you put the onus on the caller that said yes, which is fair. So then it would be my permission position to define that. Um, and good as far as our universe is concerned, would be anything that brought it that was advantageous or brought it further
Okay.
to keep existing, for lack of a better term.
Okay, so you are saying that from a naturalistic point of view, it'd be everything is good as long as it helped preserve the universe and humanity.
Yeah, yeah. Humanity, obviously, humanity is a tough one. But life in general, I would say for sure. Yeah, because humanity, may, we may take different forms, as we can clearly see, as technology goes further and further. We may take different forms, and humanity may have Homo sapien may not be the end of the line here.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Well, okay, fair enough. Go ahead. So given that definition, then what would be your next question?
Oh, my next question would be, do you think that let me think.
How
All
about
right,
this? Oh, go ahead.
so so like in the Christian worldview,
Sure,
you have
sure.
an all-knowing God that before he created everything knew what would take place. Yet he created it anyway, knowing the catastrophes that would fall ahead. So from that definition, I would say God right off the bat was not doing something good because he created something he knew would do things that were not good.
So from what I understand, and I didn't study this in school, so please excuse my ignorance. But from what I understand, as the story goes, there was a choice that was to be made at the beginning of that story, right? There was a choice.
Yep.
God gave a decision and gave a command not to do something. Human beings decided to do something, which enabled free will until Jesus Christ, in their book, until Jesus Christ was on this earth, and then from his crucifixion, he nulled that which was the original sin.
Yeah, but God, if he is all-knowing, knew what decision they would make, and he created it anyway.
Sure.
So he created all the terms needed for bad to happen.
Sure.
Plus, there's so much other.
So that wouldn't be all good anymore.
Garden of Eden
What was
He created something bad, therefore he could not be all good.
Well, unless you take into account the end result, right? Because
wait, Danny, are you a Christian or are you just arguing just to argue? I didn't.
I'm not. Honestly,
He's
I'm
in
not
between.
arguing. I'm not arguing just to argue. I am really, really at a turning point in my life where I'm revisiting these subjects again, and I'm not doing this just to argue. I'm really not doing this to argue.
I didn't know. I couldn't hear you when you first came up, so I was just clarifying. So I didn't act rude toward you or anything. Anyway,
no problem.
You know, there's a whole problem with that whole story in saying. Now these are dying, so I might be on my phone in a minute here. The problem is that Revelation says that Jesus was the sacrifice before the foundation of the earth. So if Jesus is a sacrifice before Eve ever eats a piece of fruit, then everything was orchestrated by God every moment of time from that point on, because we wouldn't need a sacrifice except that he was already the sacrifice before the foundation of the earth.
Correct.
So that being said, he did everything. He plotted every single thing so that he could then sacrifice himself, who is also his son, to himself. For no reason.
May I ask you guys a question before I comment on your comment?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys believe in self-will, or are you determinist? How do you perceive the world as far as that?
I'm a compatibilist.
Explain that. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So people who believe in free will, you know what they believe. They believe that we can
make
any choice we want, blah, blah, blah. All right? Then determinists say that everything happens because of a prior effect. There's cause and effect, throughout time. And so you're not really controlling what you do when you make a choice. You're not really controlling that. It's all the circumstances that led up to it, okay? A compatibilist believes there's a little mixture of both of those things going on, that yes, absolutely choices have been affected by, conditions, but I still ultimately get to make choices. And so it's a little bit of the both. Do you understand?
Correct. But would you also concede that at a certain point, a human being could have gone through so much trauma, right? Their environment could dictate their psychological well-being to an effect that would change the trajectory of their life completely. Period. Without any choices being made. For example, and I'm not going to say anything that would get us kicked off the app.
I'm sorry. Wait, what do you mean? Give me an example of what you're asking me. I'm sorry.
So, if something extremely traumatic happened to a child, right? Before they could really even make a choice, right? This wouldn't be determinism necessarily, but if something very traumatic happened to a child, which changed the trajectory of their life completely, right? Something in some kind of psychosis, right? Then you called it compatibilism. Then compatibilism, that marriage between free will and determinism, that line gets blurred. That really gets blurred at that point, right? Because the trauma in some cases supersedes the the
No,
ability
that's
to
exactly
choose
what
freely.
compatibilism is saying. It's saying that,
Okay.
and for instance, I did have a traumatic thing happen to me when I was very
Sure.
young, and I'm very
Oh,
sure it affected me for the rest of my life.
correct.
And so compatibilism is saying that part I had no choice in, right? I didn't have a choice. That was predetermined to happen to me because of the people who came into my life, whatever, the situations, that was going to happen to me, and I didn't choose anything. Now,
All right.
I have trauma,
Okay.
and now I have a choice on how I deal with that trauma. Do I allow that trauma to eat me up and turn me into something horrible? Let it make me so depressed that I do something to hurt myself or someone else? Or do I say, I'm going to learn from this trauma? I probably will still have effects from it. I'll have my guard up, maybe. I'll, be more cautious about things or something. But I am going to purposefully face some of the things I'm scared of, or face some of the things that are hard for me, even though I have this trauma.
And Crystal, I appreciate that. Now, and I'm
No
not
problem.
minimizing your trauma at all. But now I'm going to lean on science a little bit, right? We
Mm-hmm.
know from the experiments and the behavioral therapies that we have explored as human beings, that there is a point where trauma tips in the favor of determinism, if that makes sense to you, right?
Oh, yes,
There is a
I
point
agree with that.
where that trauma gets so great that not only other human beings, but other environmental factors can cause a human being to do things in which they have zero choice, in which they
Right. I
pull
believe
up their
that.
bootstraps and try to do something different. So
I
in that
believe
event,
that. As a
right,
compatibilist, I totally believe that. I believe many
correct,
things are predetermined, and there is no. Sometimes I'm driving down the street and I realize at any point, without anything that I could do about it, at any point, a car can veer from the other lanes
correct,
across all lanes of
correct,
traffic, jump something and smash into me, and no reaction will save me. I mean, just think
exactly.
about that.
So
I know.
using that exact same logic, right? That exact
Mm-hmm.
same logic, the exact same trauma that you went through that caused you to self-reflect, do the work that arduous work that took you your entire life to bring you to the point that you are now, where you're
Mm-hmm.
on an app helping other people, right? And you blossom into this beautiful human being, right? That same
I
logic.
hope so.
No, I'm telling you that same logic can also be applied to religion in this way.
What do you mean?
Giving human beings free will, or
Do you
giving
mean that people
what?
can be traumatized by religion and it could be not their free will that they're locked into it? Because I believe
Oh,
that.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Religion could be the
But
trauma,
I
right? Yeah.
but I
This
don't
is just an
believe
experiment.
that Christianity is real. Nothing about free will compatibilism or determinism will ever make me think that Christianity is real.
Well, let's define that a little bit, right? Because what is real and what is what's observable, right? So
Real is
what is
whatever I'm experiencing and whatever I can experience, right?
exactly. So
Mm.
any Christian who
But
believes
if
in
we
Jesus
but we
Christ
don't.
could have that same argument, and you could not argue with that the same way that
No,
I can
Christianity
argue
could
with
never change.
the Christian, the Christian, I can argue with the Christian who is sitting right in front of me that I am experiencing their story that they are telling me from their book that they are reading to me, that is not real.
To you.
no.
No, it's not real because it contradicts itself. It is illogical. There are many problems with it.
Okay, so, let's go through. Let's not go. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole book. Let's just pick one, and I would like to be the person that would be
Go ahead, Joe.
the intermediary, where I could
Okay.
say I totally agree with you, but could you see it from this angle? Go ahead.
Yeah, give me 1 second. We're
Yeah.
going to go to Matthew chapter 2, I do believe. Give me a second here.
And I don't know the book chapter and verse, so please forgive
Actually,
me
no,
for
it's
anybody.
going to be chapter 1. Sorry.
Okay. I appreciate the back and forth, by the way. A
Yeah,
lot of these debates are contentious and they're nasty, and it's really doesn't push anything forward.
yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
Sure.
If
But
people can be
this
genuine and have good
this is
faith,
like right.
we like me and
This
Crystal
world would be so good. Yeah.
can
This world
have
would be so
such
good.
good
Yeah.
conversation.
Exactly.
But all right, but we'll start chapter 1. We're gonna start in verse 20.
Hmm.
It says, "But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, 'Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins.' All this took place to fulfill what the Lord said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel."
Hmm.
Okay, that's all well and good, but if you actually go back, so now we're going to read the actual prophecy, and
Hmm.
this is where we find a problem.
Okay.
Matthew says Jesus was fulfilling this, but this is Isaiah 7, starting in verse 10. It says, "Again, the Lord spoke to King Ahaz." Let me give just a little backstory. King Ahaz was a king that was around 400 years before Jesus.
Hmm.
So we know that and that's who this prophecy is going to. And he says, "Ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be deep as Sheol or high as heaven." But Asa has said, "I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test." Then Isaiah said, just one second.
Hmm.
Um, Then Isaiah said, "Hear then, O house of David, is it too little for you to weary mortals, that you weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child, and shall bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey, by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. Before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the lands before whose two kings you are in dread of will be deserted." So we know that, and we know if you go back to Chronicles, that these two kings that were coming after Ahaz were both taken out by the Persians. So we
Okay.
know that that took place, and it says this child is going to be born, but before he can eat or eat curds and
Hmm.
honey and know right from wrong, these two kings would be unalived. This child had to have been born at least 400 years before Jesus. So this clearly was not about Jesus at all, and Matthew makes an untrue statement.
Okay. So let me just make sure that I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
So are you saying that that child would have had to have been 400 years old in order for the, or 400 plus years old in order for that statement to be true?
No, what I'm saying is that child was born 400 years before Jesus. So either there's two magical virgin births of an Emmanuel,
Hmm.
or this wasn't about Jesus at all.
I don't know the book. I am so well. I don't have
Well,
answers.
how
I don't
about the
have an answer.
fact that we never call him Emmanuel? Never was he called Emmanuel. Not on day one. Not on the last day of his life. Not on books after him. Never. So why do we go, oh, this is about Jesus, when it says you will call him Emmanuel?
We can do one more that's a little easier and cut and dry, okay? It won't be a
Yeah,
prophecy.
yeah, please, because I was going to do was ask you to steelman it, but let's do something very easy so that that I can grasp exactly what you're talking about, because I do want to touch on the empty DNA that you were talking about earlier as well. Go ahead.
Yeah.
One more easier one. The Cliff Note, the kindergarten version, please.
Okay, so in Hebrews 9:22,
Hmm.
it says, "In fact, the law requires." So he's talking about the Mosaic law. It says, "The
Hmm.
law requires that nearly everything be cleansed with blood, and without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness of sins." All right,
Okay.
so there is no forgiveness of, according to Hebrews, there's no forgiveness of sins without the shedding of blood, according to the law. The problem with this is that's not true. When you go back to Leviticus chapter 5, which is part of the Mosaic Law, says, if someone cannot afford 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, they are to bring as an offering for their sins a tenth of ephah of the finest flour for a sin offering. They must not put olive oil or incense on it, because this is for the forgiveness of sins.
So you're saying that you're saying it's a conflict because they said your blood needed to be shed in order for the forgiveness of sins, and now they're accepting an offering for the forgiveness of sins.
Yeah, the New Testament says that there has to be blood. Without it, there is no forgiveness of sins. But when Yahweh laid out the law, he said, there are exceptions, and I will forgive you with just offering up some flour.
So now we're comparing the Old Testament to the New Testament.
Well, yeah, you don't have the New
Correct.
Testament without the Old Testament.
No, understood. My question is, because again, I don't know that chapter and verse either. Is it possible though that the birth of Jesus Christ changed the order in which he believed that or events which happened during Jesus Christ's life or before Sodom and Gomorrah could have changed
Before you
the
answer
way
that
that
question,
yeah. Hmm.
I want to ask you a question. I want you to really think about this as we talk tonight, okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How many things in the Bible do you have to explain away before you go, oh, wait, shit, maybe this stuff isn't real? Because we're counting a couple now, okay? That you are like, but what if it means this? Or what if it means that? So how many of them would it take for you to go, okay, this is an ancient book written for an ancient tribe. They were trying to actually make themselves feel better, make their
100%.
God feel bigger than he was.
100%.
And then a cult came along and adapted some of it and then tried to grow as their own cult. The cult leader was put to death for the very reasons people said he was, because he was committing blasphemy. And then other sects broke off from it. I mean, that's what it is. And if every time we show you something wrong, you have to explain it away, how many will it take before you go, shit, she's right, I'm explaining every single thing away?
So exactly. So Occam's razor on this, to me, is this: these are human accounts of what everyone that lives now would say supernatural events. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I am allowing grace for that because that is fact, right? Because the books were written after the passing of Jesus Christ, right? Because I think, can we all agree that that Jesus Christ walked the earth? Is everybody willing to agree to that? As a man, I'm not talking about as God. I'm not talking about the Trinity. I'm just talking about a man.
I am a skeptic, but I will grant it in any conversation.
Correct. Like I feel the same way. But since he is in so many holy books, right? He's in the Torah.
He's not in the Torah.
What?
He's not in the Torah.
They believe that Jesus. Yes, of course he is.
Jesus is not anywhere in the Old Testament.
Well, they believe that he died. They believe that he's in hell in eternal damnation.
Who believes that?
You just said that.
Jewish people don't believe in hell.
I didn't say that.
What? What did you just say then?
I said Jesus isn't in the Torah.
But Jewish people believe that Jesus Christ walked the earth. You said that he was blasphemous.
Some people
you
do.
said that's why he died.
Some people believe he walked the earth, and some people don't. The Jewish people are not a monolith. They all think different things, just like atheists.
Oh, okay, fine, fair enough. But even the religious sects of Judaism believed he was the king of the Jews. That's what that was his name.
No, they believed that he was a heretic and blasphemous.
No, the Christian.
He was
correct.
not.
Exactly.
He
That's what I'm
does
saying.
not.
The
He did
Christians
not believe
believe
he
that he
was,
was the king of the Jews in their
but
book,
he was
and they
nowhere
believe,
in the Old Testament.
well, okay, but they believe that he was blasphemous and a heretic, right? So
Yeah,
that
but
is
he's
my point
nowhere
of
in
him.
the Old Testament.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But we were talking about him walking the earth.
You said that the reason you believe that he walked the earth is because he was in a lot of other religious books, including the Torah. And I said he was not in the Torah. And that's how this whole conversation started.
Okay, I concede that point.
Okay.
But Muslims believe that he was a prophet and that he walked the earth. Christians believe that he was the son of God, and some Jews, okay, believe that he was blasphemous, and that is the reason that he died.
Yeah, but
If
none of
we,
that proves that he was on earth. None of that proves that there was a real person named Jesus.
then why? Okay, then why do we count time based on
Wait,
what?
no, don't do that
No,
one.
no, no.
Don't.
Maybe I'm making a point that you guys refute all the time. But when I look at it, right, from my perspective,
Have you
I
ever
told you.
Googled? Have you ever Googled why we used AD when we did? Did you ever Google that?
No, not specifically. No.
I'll
But then,
Google it and tell you. Okay.
sure.
For one, that was only Western civilization that did that. The nobody else used that as their determining, and that's why we've moved away from that now. We use BCE and CE, because it's not. It's just a religious thing. That's all it is.
Correct. And I don't dispute that either. I'm just saying that all of these things put together, whether
Wait. No, no,
circumstantial,
no. You asked me to look something up. I
yeah,
want you
yeah,
to know why,
we
because it's
we were
not
filling time.
because Jesus is real or ever walked the earth.
Fair
The
enough.
Anno
We were just
Domini system, the Anno Domini system, meaning in the year of the Lord, was devised by a monk, Dionysius Exiguus, I don't know how to say his name, 525 AD. So 525 AD, a Christian monk said, let's start using this system and we'll call it the year of the Lord. That doesn't prove Jesus. It proved somebody worshiped Jesus 500 years later.
okay. But fair enough. But all of this is accounts from human beings,
No, it's
right?
not. You haven't given me one yet. You've given me several things that I've told you why they don't mean anything.
Well, I'm giving you every book inside of the Bible, right, is a human being's recount of what happened to Jesus Christ. And all of them,
No,
right?
not every book in the Bible is. Not the Old Testament, which is a great big portion of the Bible.
We're talking about Jesus, so that would be based on the New Testament.
Okay, you said every book in the Bible. I just want to clarify, not every book in the Bible.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. The New Testament.
And the New Testament. When did we get the New Testament? Do you know when we got the New Testament? When Marcion wrote it?
Which version? I mean, that's kind of a loaded question.
No.
Are we talking about the Dead Sea Scroll? I mean, what are we talking about
Hang
specifically?
on. I want to say it was around 144, I believe, is what Jaron always says, 144. Marcion presented books and, his first gospel, Evangeline, and then writings by Paul. So again, you're only telling me things that make it mean to me more. Like, this doesn't seem real. Like, why so long later are we finally getting writings about this man? And why is it by a heretic of the church anyway?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with your premise, but I also think that the amount of writings on this particular man, and just like now, right? There are false idols. There are idols that people think. For example, we can bring it to modern day and talk about regular human beings that people worship today, that 100 years from now people will be writing about or have written about, whether it be presidents or prominent figures, that we, excuse me, that it could have been a sign of the times, right? With the lack of science, they leaned on religion in order to guide their worldview, right? And to order to guide their morality. So I'm not saying that it's a fact, right? I don't think anybody can without a doubt say that it was a fact that he walked the earth. But the fact that there is so much written about this man leads me to believe that either this is a huge coordinated effort in order to just manufacture stories about a man that never walked the earth, or if we're using Occam's razor, we're going to say, okay, this guy was here, right? Whether or not the claims that he made may or may not be true, but at least if we're using the laws of reduction, he probably walked the earth
Or
with
we
so
can
much
use
written about it.
Occam's razor and say there was this cult known as the Yahweh cult. And they left writings, and another cult took them and started another cult. And then another cult called the Jehovah's Witnesses started another cult. And then another cult called the Mormons started another cult. And another cult called the Muslims started another cult. And that would seem more like Occam's razor to me.
And that's a fair perspective, right? And we could use a million reasons to perpetuate violence against other people. We could call them borders, we could call them religions, we can call them whatever we want to call them. But the fact remains, what my biggest proponent is, and it's not as much as the religion is I would argue that morality, right, especially in the West, is based on the Old and the New Testament.
And if it is, that's a shame.
Why
That
is
is
and,
not
and
where
why
we
and
should
why
be
is
getting
that?
our
With all due
morality
respect,
from.
Okay.
if you were to take the Ten Commandments, what about that would you consider a shame?
Now, I don't want to start with the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the whole
First
thing.
off,
First of all,
I
it's so misogynistic.
Okay,
it,
and excuse me, and I don't mean to make you mad. Explain why is it misogynistic?
Go ahead, Joyful. You wanted to say something.
first off, the
Yeah.
Ten Commandments is really like not a moral code very much. Besides stealing and murder, everything else is a thought crime. Everything else on the Ten Commandments is simply a thought crime. Why, if this is such a moral document, these Ten Commandments, why isn't there don't rape people, but instead Yahweh gives laws on how to rape people? Why would it be don't seek revenge on people, but instead Yahweh says, hey, seek revenge on these people and unalive even their infants? Why wouldn't it have like things that actually pertain to morals and not just thought crimes for the majority of the Ten Commandments?
Well, okay, that's true too. But also on two or three of the examples that you gave, "Thou shalt not kill" would cover those. Correct?
Well, no, because
That's not
Yahweh
a
literally,
that's not a
Yahweh,
thought crime.
well, yeah, but that wouldn't
Sorry.
cover the unaliving people for revenge, because Yahweh literally, after he gives them the Ten Commandments, says, hey, go kill the infants over there because their great-great-grandparents attacked our land.
Correct.
So murder does not cover these other immoral acts that Yahweh actually condones and, I would say, commanded.
Okay, so and that's exactly what I'm talking about. In modernity, right? In modernity, we make the distinction clearly between murder and kill, right? And that was the point that you just laid out, right?
Yep.
Why is he against this but not that? And we make those same distinctions today. So to me, it is based, if not completely,
Wait,
and I'll grant you that, but
wait.
our
You
moral
think there's a
compass is
good
based
time?
on that book.
Wait. You think
Go
there's
ahead.
ever a good time to bash a baby's head against a rock?
No.
Say
Please
that
don't.
there was a. What are you saying?
Please
No,
don't put words in my
I'm
mouth.
very
I did not
serious.
say that.
That's what
Yeah.
That is what God commands. That's what God says that you will rejoice in. And if you're saying that sometimes those things like are good because, you know, like maybe God had a good reason for it, I would really
No,
love to
no, I
what
wouldn't
the
say that.
reason.
What I would ask is that you point to where it says kill a child. That's what
Oh,
I would
it's
ask.
Oh,
1 Samuel 15:3. I'll read it.
many places.
Okay.
Um, 1 Samuel 15 verse 3. What does he say? He says, "Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy." Well, let's go back a verse. We'll
Sure.
do 2 and 3 because to let you know that this is the word of the Lord according to
Sure.
1 Samuel 15.
Sure.
It says, "This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go and attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belong to them. Do not spare them, but put to death men, women, children, infants, cattle, sheep, camels, and goats." He literally even points out infants. Children wasn't enough. He says even the infants.
And and I'm not, I'm not and I'm not, I am not by any means granting this is a good thing. But the Amalekites were who in
The
relation to them?
Alright, so the Amalekites, when they came up out of Egypt, Israel came up to their land and wanted to come inside, and they said no, and in fact they attacked Israel. But when they left Egypt was 400 years before Saul became king, and this is right after Saul became king. So these infants we hear nothing else about the Amalekites up till this point. So the only
Hmm.
thing we know is 400 years before these infants were told to kill
Hmm.
them, or they were told to kill these infants. 400 years ago, they attacked Israel.
Okay, and that is what and who commanded them to kill the Amalekites?
The Lord.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty indefensible. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a rebuttal for that at all. I don't.
But if in our
Yeah.
worldview, there, hey, that's cool. Thanks, Casey. In our worldview, it makes perfect sense because this is an ancient tribe. And this ancient tribe is trying to feel bigger and badder than the other tribes out there. And they're not. They're not very big. And so they are writing like these stories and telling each other these stories of how big and bad and mad and what a badass their God is. And why are we still worshiping a God from a bunch of ancient goat herders in 2025?
You know what? I would have the same argument towards exactly what goes on today, right? And I'm not making excuses for it, and I'm not saying the book is right, and I'm not saying to follow it at all. But we do the same tribal tactics today as the verse that you just read. If
Do you
you
think
watch,
it's because we're still following this stupid book?
I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
do too.
I think it's a real possibility. And the same way that we could have one event that happens globally, right? And I'm just bringing it into modernity. We have an event that happens globally. You could turn on Fox News, and they will have one perspective, and they will tell you to kill these type of people. And you can turn on another Al Jazeera, and they will tell you to kill those people. I think that could be exactly what happened then. It's just written. It's written on papyrus instead of broadcast over television. I think
And
that
maybe
human
if
beings are
we
tribal.
stop
Yeah.
believing in imaginary God and stop allowing the oligarchs to use this God against us, maybe we could make some real changes in the world. Because
I
God isn't doing anything, so we have to do it. So maybe if we stopped worshiping Him and actually got in and did the hard work, we could get some shit done.
And when you say hard work, what do you mean by that? Because that's actually my biggest issue, right? Is that, for example, if we take climate change, for example, right? We could do everything in our power. We could literally go to zero emissions today, right now. And if the rest of the world didn't follow suit, it would have little
I'm
to no
talking
effect.
about the whole world coming together. I'm not talking about just me and you, Danny. I'm
Okay.
saying we need to stop believing in bullshit religions, in a God that does nothing, that even when something gets done, it's human beings that do it, and then some God gets the glory for it. If we stop believing in the bullshit and start saying, hey, when somebody's hungry, stop praying and go feed them. When somebody has no place to live, stop praying and go take care of them. Jazz, I'm sorry if I sound angry to you. I get a little passionate sometimes when I talk about things. If that makes you uncomfy, you can always leave, Pumpkin.
Yeah,
Um,
let her
so
talk.
yeah,
Jeez.
I'm just
Go ahead.
talking.
Yeah,
Just
go ahead.
calm
No
down,
one's taking
sweet
it.
pea.
No one's
So
offended. We're having a
if we
productive conversation. Go ahead,
if we
please.
stop
Yeah.
believing in all of those things and stop giving glory to some God who actually doesn't do anything, then we will start relying on each other and start taking
Okay.
care of each other and
So,
start helping each other and stop
l-
killing each other.
okay, let me take you on a hypothetical. Okay. So, if we were to put down these books completely, right? We put them down. I think, and this is my opinion, that human beings are so innately tribal and it's so imprinted on our DNA that if it wasn't the books that we were fighting about, it would be something else. And that proof is in the pudding because we will do it over board, we will do it over imaginary lines in the sand. We will do it over political parties. We will do it over street on in gang violence. We'll do it over what street we live on. So if
Well,
human beings are in,
here's one thing
but
is that we have never, like globally, on a real serious level, put women in charge. And maybe if we start doing that a little bit, there'd be a lot less bullshit and tribal mentality. Okay. But the other thing is that that's very nihilistic. And I know I have felt nihilistic before, but sometimes you should look into that because if we sit here and say, why give up something that is so harmful to so many people? Because for some people, they're they're good because of it. Then I think that's ridiculous. Like that's just like saying we should spank children because some children end up obeying when they get spanked. We know the long-term harm spanking does on children. We shouldn't spank any of them.
see, and
Crystal,
I don't totally subscribe. Number one, just to refute your claim that women could do it better than men, I don't doubt that. But I'm a firm believer in balance. So I think matriarchal societies would not have the same issues as patriarchal societies do, but I think they would have equal. They would also have equal issues, and it may not look the same, but they would present themselves nonetheless. Number two,
But we won't know because that's never going to happen in our lifetime.
what do you mean?
We'll never be able to be in charge because there's too many misogynists, even who pretend that they're not, right to our faces. I'm just telling you, they will always vote for a man because he has a penis and they like
well,
I,
penises.
I don't disagree with that currently, but if we're looking at history as a whole, right? Then um, this short period of time that human beings have been on this earth, however long that you believe that they've been here, it's still in the history of the earth is a very, very short period of time. And if you take into account the the obstacles that women faced in order to be fully in the workforce, in order to fully take power, right? And that's not a misogynistic statement. I'm talking about like real life logistical issues and why they didn't participate. Um, I think that over time that will, and I'm not nihilist. I'm actually really an optimist. I think
No,
that
what you
over
said
time that will.
earlier was nihilistic. What you said earlier was
um,
nihilistic.
Yes, what I said was nihilistic, but I'm not
That's what I
nihilistic
thought.
overall. Go ahead. You wanted to say something?
yeah, the time I read a 30-minute timer. I am go. You have just a little bit left. If you would like to like just finish up with a final sentiment, then we're gonna move on.
Sure, 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 sure. I have something interesting that I read, and I think that going forward into the future, could be a really cool way to look at what we call like empty DNA at the moment. So,
Okay.
um, there was a computer scientist that stored data onto a piece of DNA. And I don't know how many terabytes of data it was, but it was an astronomical amount of terabytes of data, which like it almost made my head explode to understand that. So
Hmm.
going forward, and me looking at the future as at some point we are going to be incorporated with technology totally, right? We're going to be human beings are going to be some type of cyborg, whether it presents itself as like Elon Musk's chip in the head, or whether or not it is technology that it works in concert with us. Maybe perhaps that DNA it will allow us more storage and more capacity, and all of our tribalistic instincts and all of the animal instincts that cause us to have wars and atrocities all over the globe may go away. And I really, really feel optimistic about that. And it's the first time in history that I believe that um, the the combination of technology and human beings will take away the glaring behavioral issues that we have as a society and anthropological issues we have as a society, which will lead us into a much, much peaceful and much brighter future.
Right on, Danny. Well, you have a wonderful night and come back and see
Danny,
us
thanks for
sometime.
coming up. We appreciate you. That was a nice conversation.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Guys, we are already almost 2 hours into the live. We're only at a little below 30,000 likes. If we could get them likes up, that would be very helpful for the stream. I do appreciate y'all being here. The streams have been going a lot better. We've been averaging 70 people, 68 people over on the YouTube. So thank you very much for being there. Make sure to tap that little heart every now and again that's over there. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you like these debates, because we have them every Monday and Thursday evening, 5:30 to 9:30 Central Time. Crystal J will be running her own JA debates come Monday on this channel and with a co-host. So make sure to see that. And Thursday we have I can't remember who we have. I posted it earlier. Go look at my last video and it will tell you who we have Thursday, because
I forgot.
I already forgot.
I'll look for you.
Hopefully we'll get Dark Knight in here soon. He had to reschedule. He had some things come up, but hopefully we'll get him in here. I'm looking to try to get Christina Carroll rescheduled, and we have Lobes again this month. I think Justin will probably reappear next month, not this month, and then hopefully Joel Reed's Bible we can get back on that following month in October as well.
So what date are you looking for that you wanted to know?
This Thursday, the 4th.
The 4th, you have Spencer, Radio Spence.
No, that was last time.
Oh.
That was last 4th.
Oh, well then I don't know, because that's what came up when I played the first video.
Oh, no, it's the newest video. Or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it says
no,
season 1 August schedule.
Yeah, there
That's
should be a
what it's
September.
showing for me. Oh, maybe I'm not on the right account of yours or something.
Oh, you're probably on Joyful Apostate. You're probably not on JA Debates. I don't know, but if you disagree with the background, come on up and let's Joel heard his name be said. Harry comes into the live. Hi, Joel. Volcy's in here. Nice to see you, Volcy, guys. Keep tapping that screen. Let's get this sent out, and hopefully we can get some more ops. We got Dugald. That's who it is. We have Dugald come this Thursday. We're talking about you, Joel, saying that we're gonna have to get you back up in here in October, since September is already booked, and to do another live with you for sure. But yeah, so we have some good conversations coming up, and you guys need to subscribe so you can be a part of them. Hopefully we can get some more ops up in here.
You had a really good live today. You had a lot of women on your live today. That was a nice little change. from the usual Phil Bros that join everybody's lives. But yeah, you had a really good live today.
If you disagree over on the YouTube, we will get something up and going for you guys. I think I'm going to be working on that, as well as we should be on TikTok Studios through OBS starting Thursday. Me and Benny worked on it for a long time, but I have to do 3 lives over there, so we'll be doing that, and hopefully we will figure out how to get a call-in thing going through that. It'll probably be an actual call-in number is what I'm looking to do, but we will figure that out as the time comes. But anyway, until then. Yeah, if you're over on YouTube, you have to come over to TikTok if you want to talk. And it's JA Debates, the same as it is there over here on the TikTok. So, did you and Doug have a good Labor Day, Crystal?
Yeah, we just actually, you're just married for so long. We changed our room around. That's what we did this Labor Day.
Yeah.
So exciting. We moved the furniture around in our room and cleaned it.
Slice, if you want to come up for a couple minutes while we don't have a guest, we will take friendlies for a couple minutes. We usually only do it for a few minutes, but yeah, but if somebody does show up, it will be sooner than a few minutes. We'll probably exit you pretty quick, but you can request up if you have a question or something for me or Crystal, or if you just have something to add to the conversation, that's not a problem.
And Jazz 1123, come on up. Why are you so afraid to talk to us? Doing a lot of yapping in chat.
There is a lot of yapping over on YouTube, and there were triggered people when you were talking, Crystal.
I know
they were triggered.
She is hateful. She is just so hateful.
There was a guy just kept saying shh. The whole time you were just.
They wish they could do that. They wish they could shut every woman up. Those are the same men who will complain about how they don't get any too, but they're shutting every woman up, you know?
Yep. Yeah, in a few minutes, if you want to try to come up, that would be fine. Crystal is a boss. That is absolutely true.
Thank you, Doctor.
Liz Ray, nice to see you in the house. DWJD, nice to see you in the house. It's nice to see you both. Haven't seen you guys much, so it's nice to see you. Thank you to all of my mods.
Red Death, come on up and talk God and science with us. Come up and talk to us about it all.
In both TikTok and YouTube, I appreciate you guys being here and taking care of the chats, because I just don't. I only read it when I don't have ops up here, so it's hard to. Did you say there's somebody believe in God yet still recognize and accept science? I sent him an invitation because I would like to know if you can recognize and trust science, how, where is there any evidence for a God at that point? Why is a God necessary? It seems like you're just adding something to complicate things at that point.
Yeah. That's why I was saying Occam's razor doesn't lead to God for me, especially if we go through the root of the Bible. That doesn't seem like Occam's razor to me.
Can somebody over on the TikTok maybe mute I am, because they are talking about Crystal in a non
yeah,
sexualizing women is not okay on my platform, so we're gonna have to cut that out. And there's somebody else. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Dude. It ain't letting. I'm trying. Let's see.
You guys.
I'm
Oh
putting
my
user
God.
in timeout. There we go. You're in timeout.
You would think in this modern day and age of the internet, boys would have seen some fucking cleavage by now and not be able to lose their shit. Like, and bitch, this is like 60-year-old cleavage. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, like, we're not talking like I'm 25. What is wrong with you guys? They're just saying the most weird fucking shit.
Right. Yeah. I have no idea. But anyway, if you disagree with the background and you're here on TikTok, go ahead and request up. You can talk to me and Sarah or Crystal here, and yeah. We got Zach.
Hey guys, what's up?
How old are you, Zach? And are you a Christian?
I'm 18, I'm a Christian. I just gotta fix my mic. I'm on my iPad really quick. Hold on.
Okay. 18.
Alright guys, I'm back.
Right on. What is your best reasoning for believing in God?
I would just say purpose. I feel like we have purpose. That's what I feel.
God gives you like the Christian God specifically
I
gives you
think
purpose?
yes. I think specifically, like I said, when you're living your life and you're just like you're actually like, hey, I'm doing this for this instead I'm just gonna live my life and die. You're like, I'm doing this, like I said, for God or whoever you're doing it for. It gives you way more purpose.
Yeah, I do. Everything I do for my kids and my wife. Do you think that I have just as much purpose as you without a God?
Well, that's great that you do that for them, but I'm specifically saying, like I said, obviously Christians believe God created them, and helping your kids is purpose. That is a purpose, but you're also serving God, which I think is a purpose as well.
No, I get that.
You said we wouldn't have purpose without God, and we do have purpose.
Well, would you like to explain to me the purpose of life without God?
Yeah. The purpose I've given my life is to make the world a better place for my children. No, it does matter.
Why does it matter?
Because my kids will have a happier life.
But you're gonna die, they're gonna die, and there's nothing after. Why does it matter?
Because I would like people to have happy lives after me, because I care. Because listen, I have an experience, and I know other people will have an experience, so I have empathy and want people to have a better experience than I even have here in this earth. So my purpose is to make this earth a better place so they have a better experience. It's a purpose.
And yeah, that's amazing. I just kind of disagree with that a little bit. But yeah.
What do you disagree with? I
just feel like when you're talking about purpose, you're saying all this stuff that at the end of the day, if we didn't have anything like to like look at for our purpose of life or anything after life, I don't see why any of that would matter.
I don't believe there is an afterlife, and I think the fact that people think that there's an afterlife. A woman so he got out of the no. I don't think there is an afterlife, and I believe that if you live your life as if there is an afterlife, you care less about what's going on here, and you don't take care of people the way you should, nor yourself. And I think living for the human beings that are on this planet right now and trying to help as many of them as I can along my way is a greater purpose than worshiping something I can't even prove exists.
Okay, well, are you guys, first of all, when you said the whole people that believe in the afterlife, you believe they probably are living life worse than people that don't? Is that what you said? Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually not true, because people that don't believe in the afterlife are usually atheists, and then people that do are usually Christians. And regardless of what you say, you can't make the argument that morality-wise, not lukewarm Christians, but actual Christians that follow God's word are not better people than atheists.
That's
No,
not.
I'm saying you.
Do you have?
Because they don't have morals.
That
They
wasn't
just
my claim. That wasn't my claim.
Crystal,
That wasn't
all
my
you
claim.
got is e-morals if you're an atheist. You ain't got no morals.
I'm not even a country kid.
My claim was that you guys live for the afterlife instead of this life, and because of it, you don't help people as much. You cause more harm to people. You don't value this life the way we do. We think this is the only chance you get, and because of it, we value the people in our lives more, humanity, and this earth. We take better care of this earth because you guys think it's all gonna be destroyed and you get to go to heaven.
Well, no one ever said. Actually, I don't know why you may be making that argument. Just because you can't say it, cherishing life. I never said I'd get multiple lives. We have to cherish our life. I completely understand that. But also, just because I believe in there's an afterlife doesn't mean I'm not going to do the best in the one life I get. The afterlife is not the same as the life you're living on Earth. It's completely different.
Okay, Zach. So let me ask you this question. This is how I have a good idea to show you like the difference in atheistic morals and Christian. Do you think trans people should exist?
Do I think they should exist?
Mhm.
Like, do I think they should be killed or something?
No, do you think they should exist? Like it's something that should happen?
People switching their genders?
Should trans people exist?
Well, you have to kind of explain your question more thoroughly.
Okay. I can answer it. So watch this. Joyful asked me the same question.
Crystal, should trans people exist? Like, is that something that should happen?
Sure, of course. Mm-hmm.
I need you to explain the question more.
Okay, alright, do you think it's good that there are trans people?
I think that every human being is equal and has the same amount of purpose, but what I do not like is gender dysphoria is horrible and what it does to people, and I don't recommend anybody doing bad stuff.
I like how you aren't answering my question. It's a yes or no question. Is it good to be trans?
It's not good to be trans, no.
Okay, so the difference between my moral and yours is I do not believe that there are certain groups of people that shouldn't exist.
I didn't say...
You believe there are certain groups of people that shouldn't exist. That's literally what you're saying. You're saying it's not a good thing. It's something that's bad. They shouldn't exist by that framework.
I didn't say the people individually that make those choices shouldn't exist. I said gender dysphoria.
They're not choices, though.
You're interrupting me, Crystal.
I know I am. Don't tell me what I'm doing. I know.
Okay, well, if we're gonna have a fair debate, you should let me.
Listen to what I'm saying. It's very.
You're not gonna interrupt me. I was speaking. I
will talk. I'm
talking to the other guy. So anyway, what I was saying.
Zach,
can I please finish my point?
How the show is run. I don't think you understand.
You're not letting me speak.
I think you do.
You're not letting me speak.
They are people. It's not a choice. Trans people. It's not a choice.
Okay. So
you said people who make that choice. I'm telling you to say people who are trans.
Okay, now that you said all that, anyway, Joyful. So what my point was is that those individuals that go through that's horrible, and I obviously would want them to exist. But just like anything that I feel like is wrong, I don't wish it upon anyone. It doesn't mean I don't want those people to exist. It means I don't want that to happen anymore.
You don't think they should in a choice
Not
world?
They would. Thing itself.
Hold up. Trans people are who they are. That is who they are.
No one's born trans.
Yes,
Who's
they are.
Trans?
Yes, they are.
Who's born trans?
People that are trans. They are who are born. Yes, they are born with a different gender identity than the way their body presents.
Okay, but when you ask me that question, should they exist? If I feel like something's wrong, it doesn't mean that the people that do it, I think, shouldn't exist. I think the thing itself.
In a perfect world, and you could have it exactly how God wants it, and it would be no sinners there. Would trans people be in that world?
Would trans people be?
That was a very simple question.
So heaven, basically, is that what you're saying?
In a perfect world, would trans people exist?
Well, the people that turn trans would exist, but transgenderism wouldn't exist.
Oh, okay, Zach. Well, you have some growing up to do. Thank you for coming up. Kids are hard to talk to, and that is not straw manning. I just didn't want to go through the whole thing to get him to say the truth, and I could get you to say it too. If you think that they should not be trans, and trans is who they are. That is their identity. That means you think they should not exist. If trans is bad and in an ideal world, I don't know why that is so hard for people. It's like they don't want to get it.
No, that's exactly it.
Yo.
How's it going, Mike? What is your age? Or are you over 18? And are you a Christian or a believer in God?
I'm 23, and yeah, I'm Christian.
Right on. So what makes you believe that, or what, without personal experience, could you present us with to make us maybe think that God does exist and change our mind here a little bit?
I guess my best defense would be the Bible and the Gospels, to be honest. For example, all the prophecies that were fulfilled that, people hundreds of years before Christ existed said how he would live, how he would die, where he'd be born, and all those lined up with our historical accounts of what we know about Christ.
Well, that's not true.
Like,
he fulfilled 0 of those prophecies. You want to read some?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so are you familiar with Isaiah chapter 7 about the virgin birth?
Yeah, the virgin birth.
Yeah, so have you ever actually read the prophecy about it? Or did you just read Matthew where they
I can't,
said...
to be honest, I can't recall it off the top of my head. If you want to read it to me, I'm more than willing to listen.
Yeah, okay. So in Isaiah chapter 7, this is what Matthew chapter 1 says that he was born of to a virgin to fulfill the prophecy given by the prophet Isaiah that she will give birth and they will call him Emmanuel. So we're going to go to that claim and show you that not only did he not fulfill it, but Matthew's also saying things that are untrue. So King Ahaz, for a little backstory, just one second. I said 400 years earlier. 700 years before Jesus was King Ahaz. King Ahaz was getting attacked by 2 kings. Okay, and the prophet Isaiah went to King Ahaz. And this is what he says starting in verse 10. And this is where we get the prophecy of the virgin. It says, "Again the Lord spoke to Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be deep as Sheol or high as heaven." But Ahaz said, "I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test." Then Isaiah said, "Hear then, O house of David. Is it too little for you to weary mortals, to weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child, and shall bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey, by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before you, whose 2 kings you are in dread of, will be deserted. The Lord will bring on you and your people and on your ancestral house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria." So this is a prophecy to King Ahaz 700 years before Jesus, and this child is going to be born as a sign to him that the 2 kings are going to be killed. So the child in this prophecy is supposed to be born 700 years before Jesus. So can you explain how Jesus also fulfilled this?
Well, he was the only one born of a virgin that we know of, and then, "For the child shall know you refuse evil, choose good, the land of your dread. O reign king of Syria, the people of your father's house, days come." Oh, what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this child is supposed to be born during the reign of King Ahaz. So was Isaiah just wrong and this kid wouldn't be born then? He would be born 700 years later? It was just whoopsie by Isaiah?
I don't really see where it says that it'll be born during his time.
It does. It says, "Before the child knows how to refuse evil and choose good, the land before whose 2 kings you are in dread will be deserted." And we know, if you go back into Chronicles, that those 2 kings, while King Ahaz was still king, were destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So that child had to have been born during that time, or Isaiah was wrong and that wasn't assigned to the king at all.
Yeah, I'll look that up. Hold on. You just taught me something. Hold up.
And chapter 8, doesn't it say that the child is born anyway?
Yeah.
Take up.
Hezekiah.
Let me see. Where is this in chapter 8?
In chapter
Give
8,
me 1
verse
second.
2, it says, "And I will take to myself faithful witnesses for testimony, Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son." Oh, I'm sorry, wait. It's verse 3. I'm sorry. "So I approached the prophetess, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. Then the Lord said to me, name him Mahir Shalahhalashbas." I don't know what that means, and that's what it says.
He's quoting. Take a large scroll. Yeah, he's quoting. Moreover, the Lord said to me, take a large scroll, write it down.
Right, the baby is born. The one they're talking about in 7 is born in 8. Just like it was prophesied.
No, chapter 7 is definitely talking about Jesus because the child
It's not. No, this is talking about a child born 700 years before Jesus. How is it assigned to King Ahaz that the 2 kings will be killed if it isn't during King Ahaz's time? That's what has to be explained. How is this a sign that these 2 kings will be destroyed if, in fact, this kid was born 700 years after King Ahaz was king? And the answer is, this kid was born during Ahaz's reign, and in fact, not long after the prophecy took place.
And when did we call it
Apologetics.org.
Jesus Emmanuel? Like, we never called him that. He's never called that, not from the time he's born and not till the time he's on the cross. He is never, ever known by Emmanuel.
He's talking about, because he's talking about spiritually. He's saying that. So what God means is that he's talking about.
Actually, the Hebrew there, it means that they will, like, that is what he will be known by. That's what that Hebrew means when it says he will be known by Emmanuel. It means that is his name. That is what they will call him. And Jesus is never, ever, not one time referred to by Emmanuel.
It's crazy to me. Like, the pretzels. The pretzels are crazy. I guarantee you he's on an apologetics website, which isn't going to help.
No, I'm just, my phone keeps blacking out.
Okay.
No, I'm just.
So who is this assigned? Let's go through it step by step. Who is this assigned to?
Ahaz.
Okay. What is the sign to Ahaz? The child. If King Ahaz is 700 years before Jesus, now you have to explain to me how Jesus was the sign to King Ahaz.
Because Ahaz is alive during the time of Jesus. He's physically dead, but spiritually alive.
No, because the sign is about the 2 kings he's in fear of dying. That was what the sign was for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they died during the years of King Ahaz, the sign that they would be destroyed was the kid. Correct?
Right, because...
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with a kid being born after Ahaz was dead. It's not spiritual. This is a very physical thing that actually was happening. And this is Isaiah saying, giving Ahaz comfort that the kings would be destroyed. That's all this is. But Matthew lies and says it's about Jesus when it's clearly not.
It's the behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son. That's the only person that's claimed is
No,
Mary.
Isaiah says this happened 700 years before him. So was
Right.
Isaiah lying? Was he a false prophet?
No, he could just prophesy the Christ right there.
No, he so hold
the
on.
Lord will be the Lord will bring
Mike, think about the pretzel you just put yourself in. So everything else is to King Ahaz about the time of King Ahaz, but then just out of nowhere he said some shit about something that's going to not have anything to do with King Ahaz. Is that what you're telling me?
The days that have not come since the day of him. I'm telling you that the sign, right, which is Jesus that he's talking about.
Nope. Wrong again. All right, so we'll read it again. When is this sign supposed to take place?
Tell me the verse you're talking about.
All right. Verse 14 through 16. All right, what is this kid going to be alive and not doing before the kings are destroyed?
For therefore the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good.
Yeah, before the king, the two kingdoms are deserted. They're destroyed, right?
Upon your people and your things that you have not come since. My Bible doesn't say that, to be honest.
What do you mean? For before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before whose two kings you are in dread will be deserted. That's verse 16.
Ah, okay, I see. I was skipping on my bad. Where before the child shall know or refuse to.
Alright, so this child will be born, and not quite to where he knows right from wrong, and the two kings will be deserted, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We know that those two kingdoms were destroyed from the story of Ahaz in Chronicles during the life of Ahaz. So this sign was a sign that those two kings would be destroyed. That's literally what Isaiah says.
Also, Mike, would you read verse 16 for me out of your Bible?
For before the child, the thing is that your wording is like a little bit backwards compared to
That's okay. That's why I'm saying, will you read verse 16 for me?
For before the child shall know to refuse the good and refuse the evil and choose the good. The land.
Why would Jesus need to learn how to refuse evil?
He shall know.
It's not about Jesus. Jesus would never have to learn how to refuse evil.
Right, because he shall know.
Right, so this is not Jesus. This says this child has to learn.
No, it says shall know.
No, it says before he will know enough, meaning he has to learn it. Before he will know enough to refuse evil.
Right, because
that means to learn it.
Right, he had to learn how to. He
wasn't born that way. Why would he have to choose between evil and good? He should. We can't hear you, Joyful. He should always have done good.
He always did good. He was sinless.
Choice for Jesus.
Then he always knew how to refuse the evil then. So this is not about Jesus, because this is about a kid that doesn't know at some point in his life how to refuse evil.
For before the child shall know to refuse evil.
Right. How do you know something? You learn it. So before he knows it, meaning before he learned it, Jesus would never say this about Jesus. It would say, something else. Before Jesus, could walk on his own, before Jesus walks on water, but it wouldn't say before he knows good and evil.
It's not saying they're trying to say that when he comes of age.
You are trying to massage this text because you want it to be about Jesus, but it's not. It never was. No, they did not think that this was a prophecy about the Messiah. This was a prophecy for King Ahaz at the time, and it was fulfilled in the next chapter.
Really?
Yes.
What verse?
Not Emmanuel. Jesus did not have to choose between evil. This is not about Jesus. It wasn't ever considered a messianic prophecy. It was considered a prophecy for King Ahaz that was fulfilled in the next chapter.
What verse in the next chapter was it fulfilled?
I told you. In verse 3, she has the baby.
When the prophetess, then I went to the prophetess and she conceived before her son. Then the Lord said to me, call his name For before the child shall know knowledge, cry, my father, my mother, which is Damascus.
And then God goes on to prophesy more. He goes on to prophesy more.
I don't see how chapter 3
It's
is talking
also
about
in
Jesus.
the present tense. It's not in the future tense in any translation.
Well,
So it says that that the woman is with child, not she will be one day a pregnant lady. It says she's with child.
and went to the prophetess she conceived before. This is not talking about the kid in the last chapter.
The original Hebrew, the word isn't virgin either. Like, I can bring you so many reasons why Isaiah 7 isn't Jesus. The original word in Hebrew is maiden. It got mistranslated in the Septuagint. And the disciples didn't speak Hebrew. So they translated from the Septuagint and they used virgin.
Okay, Mike, okay. So we'll move on to another one because this one I think is a little too hard for you. So we'll move on to Zechariah 9. Do you know what Zechariah 9 is?
Just you tell me.
It's about riding the donkey. Jesus rides the donkey into Jerusalem to fulfill the prophecy according to Matthew, another lie Matthew tells.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start in verse 9. It says, Rejoice greatly, O daughter Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, triumph and victorious is he, humble and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. He will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall command peace to the nations. His dominion shall be from sea to sea and from river to river, to the ends of the earth. All right, so Jesus rode a donkey. We can all say there's a story about Jesus riding a donkey. Was he a victorious king? When was he victorious in war?
Well, he's not referring to the war. He's talking about the war that's coming.
Oh, so Jesus didn't fulfill this. He'll fulfill it later. So this is another prophecy Jesus didn't fulfill.
Not yet, but he fulfilled the donkey prophecy, yeah.
No, because he's supposed to be victorious and triumphant from war when he comes riding on the donkey. So you can't have one and not the other. So was he victorious in war when he came riding into Jerusalem on a donkey?
Yeah.
What war?
What war?
Against sin.
When was he the king of Israel?
Since before time.
Nope. Incorrect. Yeah. A king of Israel there's a specific thing that you have to do to become king of Israel. David was a king of Israel. Was Jesus Jesus never sat on David's throne, did he?
No, he was from his father. Joseph was from the line of David.
Yeah, I know. So Jesus wasn't even from David like the prophecy says he should have been, but that's besides the point. Here's the other problem. Did he cut off the chariot from Ephraim or the war horse from Jerusalem when he was here? Did he command peace to all the nations?
He preached peace to all the nations.
Did he command peace to all the nations and cut off the war horse from Jerusalem?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. They were literally under Roman siege while he was here on Earth and afterwards. They were literally in 70 AD. They destroyed the temple and removed them from their land. Jesus did not cut off the war horse. So when you say things like that, it makes me think that you do not really care about having an actual discussion.
I do care about it. The thing is that you guys think in the natural. You guys understand that God's war is spiritual.
Okay, so Jesus didn't do any of this. He's going to do it later, besides riding a donkey.
Yeah, he disarmed Satan completely. That's what it's talking about.
No, that's not at all what he's talking about. You've never...
And the war horse they're talking about.
All right.
I'll just probably the revelation.
Apparently have to make this a lot easier for you. Are you aware that God tells us a determining factor of knowing if a prophecy is true or not in Deuteronomy?
I know what you're talking about. I forgot exactly what it said, though. I know
Yeah,
what you're
it says that it has to be done during the lifetime of a prophet. Are you aware that all of these prophecies were done by prophets that were long dead before Jesus came around?
They were alive.
No, they were not.
They actually were, because God is the God of the living.
No, we're not Mike, we're not talking about
Look,
spiritual. He's talking about a physical being alive. You got to pay attention. So in Deuteronomy, it says they must be alive because if what they say don't come true, you have to be able to kill them for doing that. So if Isaiah told a prophecy that was not going to come true during his lifetime, according to Yahweh, he should have been labeled a false prophet. Should they have labeled Isaiah a false prophet?
no, because
Was Yahweh wrong when he said that?
Yahweh is never wrong. He's not capable.
Okay, so what you're doing now is you're saying you're making a logical contradiction. You can't have it that Isaiah can do this and Yahweh is still right. So we're just going to read Deuteronomy 18:22. It says, "If a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, but the thing does not take place or prove true, it is not a word that the Lord has spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously." And if you go back to the verse before that, the reason he's telling them that is because he makes this command. Or it's actually 20, but let me go to 20. He says, "But any prophet who presumes to speak in my name a word that I have not commanded the prophet to speak, or who speaks in the name of another god, that prophet shall die." And he says, "You may ask, how will we know if the word is from you?" And then he tells them that how you know is if it comes true. How are you supposed to put to death people that are already dead?
The thing is that
there's no thing. How do you put to death somebody that's already dead?
Only God can do that.
Okay, so when God commanded them to put to death these people, he was giving them a nonsense command because their prophecies could be true and happen well after they're dead.
The thing is that you guys need to understand when
it's
the
spiritual.
Father talks about life and death.
I know, Mike. It's all spiritual because it doesn't. It's always this way with Christians. It's always this way that it's spiritual. When it doesn't work in their favor, it's just spiritual, man. It's just spiritual. You got to use your Holy Spirit eyes to really see. No, it's what the book says. It's what the book says. They hate the Bible. I am convinced Christians hate the Bible.
I cannot disagree with you, sir.
There's nothing they hate more than actually reading the Bible. There's nothing. Jesus blood covered glasses. Yeah. Do you pay your bills? Yes. I think Guess thinks he pays his bills spiritually. That's probably something he thinks will get him by in life. But that's just not how reality works. I don't think we have any other guests. Yes, we do. We still have Menkins, but I thought Menkins was a friendly, but that's fine.
Hey.
Menkins, how are you?
I'll be right back.
I'm doing
we
well.
We talked before. I'm in Judaism. I'm not a Christian, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I hear a lot of Christians talking about the Torah and the Tanakh. And it's interesting to me that you guys know more than them. I mean, and I respect that, by the way.
Well, I think it's because, like, a lot of times when people leave, like, I know for me, and I know for a lot of my friends, when we left the Christian faith, we looked to these other sources that we were always told were evil, because if I don't believe what I was told, then maybe it... And so, like, we've looked into a lot of these things, and also that we have friends that are like Rabbi Hannah and Rabbi Bart and all them that try to teach us a lot of that stuff, because they've taught me a lot more than anybody about those types of things.
Yeah. So that's why I appreciate that. I think that what I like about my people, and I don't know if you can call it a religion. It's a little bit more than that because we're a tribe, and it's that we don't really tell other people what to do. We're not about, and I'm pretty sure that you know that. Like, we don't see atheist or agnostic as evil, or they don't go to the good place, let's say, like that, or any of that. It just does not exist. It's really, I mean, if you look for it in the Tanakh, in the Torah, it doesn't say anything about enforcing the belief in God and other nations. It's actually said the opposite. It says the nation will come to you. So it's like the opposite around of going to other nation and tell them what to do. You're supposed to be an example. I mean, you probably know the 7 law of Noah, right?
Yeah.
So the 7 law of Noah, it's pretty much every person on earth almost probably okay with the 7 law of Noah. And according to what we believe or what we live by, it's the laws of the Torah. It's like an operating book, you know, like a washing machine or whatever. It's like telling you, look, if it's good for you, take it. We abide by that. We will get punished, okay, because we're born into the tribes. But other people are actually not. They can do whatever they want. They can pick and choose. They can, because the 7 law of Noah tells to have judicial laws. So they can choose these laws and integrate it inside of them. And a lot of, like, if to take it to another level, I think that a lot of the things that in the Torah, not all of them, implemented by a lot of nations, like the 7 days, work ethics, trade, how to act, you know, to your animals, and marriage laws, and so on and so on. Of course, that a lot of things that they change it, and they put blame and shame and fear into hearts of people that I think it's caused more damage than good. And I see it in a lot of ex-Christians, especially when they talk about it. They say, hey, why do you need to scare little, you know, boys and girls? Tell them that if you don't do this and that, you're going to hell. There is no need for that. There is really no need for that. If it's good, it's good. If it's here for you and it's supposed to, because just like you said, you know, you said something really interesting, that we live by it. We don't live for the next world. It's like the next world is the next world, whatever it will be. We don't have a lot of information about that. We're supposed to make this place a better place, like this life, the community life, our family, the earth, the relationship between one another. It's about ethics. It's about, if you abide by these laws, like the 10 Commandments, it's supposed to make peace in the community, in nations. If we decide between one another to not to unaliving each other, or murdering, or to theft, to all these things, not to do, so we live better life. It's like the punishment is more, let's say it's more like if I give you a plant and I tell you, listen, you know, put that plant in the sun, give it water, give it nutrition. If you don't do that, you don't get the blessing. If you do that, you get the blessing. And people can judge by themselves. If the law is good, they can implement it. If not, so no. It's like that simple in my eyes, you know?
Right on. Well, I appreciate you, Menkins, for being here. I am going to move on, but I appreciate you as always. You are a wonderful human being, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, guys.
I love Menkins. Every time he comes up, he just has a very practical outlook. We may not agree on everything, but he has a very practical outlook. Yeah, I was wondering when Justin was going to be live. I knew he was going live tonight, but I just didn't know when. But I think I know now because
some of you go over to Justin's chat. and start riling up some Christians and tell them that Joyful's over here talking smack.
Tell
on
them they
Jesus.
can sit in his guest box for the next 2 hours waiting for their turn, or they could come over here, get front row. That's what you need to tell them. They'd have front row access, first one up. That's what we need to do.
Sorry, I had to move to my air-conditioned side of the house. I couldn't take it anymore. my office is not air-conditioned, and this time of day, like, it's triple digits right now, and it gets so hot over there. I just couldn't take it.
No, it's really nice outside here. I don't have the air conditioning on, but I am starting to sweat just a little bit. Getting a little glisten going.
I'll be
guys,
right back. Gotta feed my puppers. I almost forgot. I'll be right back.
Right on. Guys, we have an hour and a half left in the live. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Keep tapping them likes on TikTok and YouTube. Over on YouTube, if you have not hit the thumbs up, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. We bring you great debates Mondays and Thursday evenings, 5:30 to 9:30 Central Time. And we always have new people up. Today we have Crystal. The next we have Dugald. And then Crystal and another host are going to be hosting a JA Debates without me next Monday. It will be... we have a good upcoming lineup for you. I have a whole list on my page. If you go to my page, you can see the dates and who's going to be here. At the end of the month, we have Christ Before Jesus, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that one's going to be really cool. And then next month, we'll have Justin up again, I do believe, and Joel Reads Bible. And Lobes is going to be a monthly guest. It looks like we just have a lot of good things going on here. And yeah, make sure to subscribe so you can make sure to catch all of the lives. We got Eli Polite. Jaren is fire. I love Jaren. I'm not sure I'm 100% convinced and know Jesus, but he's got me pretty close. Eli, are you over 18 and are you a theist?
I'm over 18, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
And you're a theist?
Agnostic more than anything.
Okay, so you don't necessarily believe in a God?
Well, here's the thing. I'm 49 right now, and throughout my life, I went to seminary for 4 years. I was an ordained priest. I taught Sunday school, youth pastor, all that stuff. So I've done all of that, and I stepped away from all of it because of the words of God. Not because of the words of God, but because of the Bible itself. Because I did a lot of studying the subject, more than the average person would do. You know what I mean? I've read the Bible 14 times cover to cover, for instance. And I've studied many religions beyond that. So that's my background. So when it comes to religion, I know more about it than, say, the average person.
Okay. But you're not like a theist right now?
No.
Right on. Well, we are looking to talk to theists. I do appreciate you. And down the line...
explain that a little bit further, just so that I understand.
Do you believe in a God?
In a way, my theory on God is a little bit different than most. So I will say that yes, I do, but not in the normal form, if you know what I mean.
All right, can you give me a definition of your God?
I think that each person meets the God that they believe in, period.
Okay.
If you believe in Christ, you meet Christ. If your God is money, you meet money. If your God is Buddha, you meet Buddha. And I think that comes from a deeper a deeper place inside of yourself.
And
Does
this
that
is
make
why
sense?
I'm an atheist. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, it
Okay,
just seems
so
that that's not what God means to me, you know? Like,
yes, but so let me go a little bit further with that. I've never met a true Christian ever, and I've met a lot of Christians because I've read the Bible so many times. Most Christians don't practice what is within the Bible, you know, and they make up a lot of things in my mind that are not true, and they follow those things. God, if you believe Christ, and if you believe in Christ, and you go to the gas station, and some Christ's teachings tell you how to handle that situation, and most
I'm
people will
saying
fail.
because you are saying because I hear people say things like this, I am an ig-theist. Do you know what an ig-theist is?
I've heard that term, but I'm not 100%.
It means that I don't think anybody can clearly give me a definition of what a God is, let alone who God is. So I find the whole idea of God ridiculous.
I think God's made up in each individual's head. If I give the Bible to 100 people and I ask God to do so, and I divide those 100 people up and put them in different rooms, each one of those 100 people is going to have a completely different opinion on what they read.
Yeah, that's not what I mean, though. I'm saying not what I mean, though. Pizza should be, or what we expect the pizza to look like when we get it. We kind of have an idea of what pizza is. But with God, you all just, a shoe could be God. And because you do, if I just said that anything can be pizza, then what's the point of having the word pizza?
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally.
And that's what I'm saying about what you're saying. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally.
Yeah, I think that, you know, again, my opinion is that when it comes to God, it's 100% opinion. It's everybody's opinion. And
Saying it doesn't
comes to God of anything, you know, that's not my goal. My thing is, you know, I think we all, every single human being alive worships something, whether you admit to it or not. Just like I think that
that's ridiculous. I think you're redefining the word worship then. Like, that is ridiculous. Not everybody worships things. I can love things. I can be in relationship with things and people and animals and other living things on this planet. And that doesn't mean I worship anything. Worship is a specific word.
it is a specific word. It's just like, in my opinion, the word worship is no different than the word love. It has a completely different meaning to every single person that says, I love you. It means something different.
We
There's
should
no
just make up words as
definition
we
to
go
it.
along.
Okay, but then
Like
that doesn't explain what I just said, which is the word love. Every single human being is gonna have a different definition of what that word means. Every single person. So does that mean that word is undefinable?
No, I'm saying you are changing the definitions of all the words to be like, it means something different for everybody. So what good is definitions at all? Why, if we're just going to make up as we go along?
Well, I mean, that goes back to what I said about certain words that are undefinable, because to each person as an individual, it's going to have a different meaning to that individual, because everybody's life experience is going to be different. If I take two people and I put them in the exact same situation, and then I interview them later, their opinion of that exact same situation is going to be 100% different. I mean, there's going to be some similarities, but it comes down to, like, there's so much
We
that
did this
people,
with the pizza analogy already. I told you, I get that. If I say Joyful, hey, let's me and you go get some pizza. Joyful's gonna picture something in his head. I'm gonna picture something in my head. We'll get to a pizza place and it probably won't look anything like either one of us pictured, but we knew what we meant when we said pizza. When you say God can be anything, you are literally just redefining the word God and
well, I
making
mean,
so then pizza can be anything.
so love can be anything.
That's up to you're saying that. I'm not. I'm saying words have meaning and
Okay,
definitions.
again, but the word love, if I ask 100,000 people to define love, I'm going to get 100,000 different answers. Does that mean
No,
that
some
love?
of us will look it up in the dictionary and read the definition to you. Now, how I feel when I feel love might be different for everybody, but I think that most people know what I mean when I say I love my children. I don't think everybody has this like wild different picture in their head. I think most people know what I mean when I say I love my children.
Yeah, but I mean, so I understand 100% what you're saying. I get it, but what that does, like, there are certain words like God, love. There's other words, hate, so forth, like words that describe an emotion. There's absolutely a definition for that word, but every single person is going to have a different opinion of what that means. And you have to consider like the mental capacity of the human being you're talking to, the way that they were brought up, whether they're male or female, whether, there's so many things, so many nuances that go into like God.
Oh
Oops.
my goodness.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know either.
I think his ball, that God ball he had, fractured him or something. I don't know. Guys, thank you for being here over here on TikTok. Keep tapping that screen. We have about an hour left in this live, and then we are going to go raid Justin, the Deconstruction Zone, if he is still live. But make sure you're tapping the live, share out the live. This whole time we've only got 90 shares. If we can get up over 100 shares, that helps the live. I really want it. We've got to 100,000 likes every time we've been live, and tonight it's quite clear we're not going to get there. But let's try to get as close as possible, please. It really does help the live, and we're slowly growing this channel, and I appreciate it.
So what's new, Joyful? What the fuck is new with you?
Working a lot on this channel, trying to get everything worked out with this, trying to update equipment for it and stuff with YouTube funds.
Yeah,
I get
I'm
through
gonna
super
be
chats
trying to
and
do
stuff.
that too.
So I've been trying to, like, I got a new mic and stuff, but it doesn't really work with my phone, so...
Need help?
And so, like, the computer thing, we're getting that figured out, and I got a webcam. Like, I've got stuff, but it's just a lot of stuff to do with mixing up my everyday life with my kids and everything. They were all gone all day. I haven't even seen them today. Because I worked. I had to work today, unfortunately. And they were gone. They're at her sister's house, I do believe. So I don't even know that they'll be back before I go to bed. We will see. But yeah, just been busy working on this and working on the house. I finally got the walls painted in my kitchen and trim up. And so I'm moving forward on some renovations that I've had the material for years, but I had a mental breakdown and just kind of gave up on. But yeah, I found some motivation to do it. Which is a good thing. That means my mental health is on at least a little better.
That's good. That's good.
How about yourself, Crystal? What have you been up to?
We rearranged our bedroom today. Like I said that was the big Labor Day plans. I am obviously growing my channel too. I have some great lives coming up this week. Tomorrow I have Fee, Mackluster, and Lortz for a special Decon Q&A with Crystal J, because I thought, you know what? Why not have the best panelists there are up?
That's cool. That is cool. Over in the YouTube, may I ask a genuine question? What would you tell a fellow gay who is just disappointed in what they see? I'm not sure I quite understand the question, Riley Gold. I am bi. I just don't know really what you're asking. Like, what are you disappointed in seeing? I'm just... I guess you need to clarify that question. I would like to field it, but I'm not very sure. There was a long time I was not happy with what I saw in the mirror of myself, but I'm not sure. That is a good trio, Jeffro. Make sure if you are here on YouTube or on the TikTok, make sure to
Sorry, I'm trying to hook up my headphones. Sorry.
Why do you hate the LGBTQ community was the prompt. Oh, yeah, I have okay. Yeah, I do have that on there as well for this live. I don't always, but me and Crystal are both very avid about speaking out for the LGBTQIA+, and I figured having her here, it would be a good time to bring that back for this episode as a prompt up there on the screen. Why do you dislike what you see? You don't like... Christians tend to hate the LGBTQIA, so my question for them is why? I don't understand what you would hate about that. I guess is kind of my confusion. Let's see here. We still don't have any people in the guest box. If you disagree and you're on YouTube, you will have to come over here for now to get on here. George, nice to meet you. Hello over there on YouTube. But you will have to come over here to TikTok to guest up. Right now, we don't have any way to communicate with YouTube, but I am working on that once I get OBS going. I'm going to try to get a phone number to where everything... So we will be working on getting a call in for you guys, because Video Ninja just was not working out. But stay tuned. We will get that going. We are getting a lot of equipment together for this.
Just to let you guys know, Friday, and I don't remember, so you have to follow me if you want to know, or DM me, or go check Discord or something. But Friday, I have Deconstruction Zoom Justin for Decon Q&A with Crystal J. I think it's around 11 a.m. Pacific time, if I'm not mistaken. But
did we ever set up the time for me to do it again?
Yes, I'll text you later.
Oh, it's this Tuesday. No. Is it next Tuesday?
Maybe it's this Tuesday.
I think it was the next Tuesday.
It's on my calendar. No, I mean,
think yeah, I think it's right after you do your show on JA Debates. That's
right.
Yes. Yep. So it will be next Tuesday. I will be on Decon Q&A with Crystal J, which will be fun. And Decon Q&A with DZ is going to be awesome as well. LOL, you're amateur. I have no idea what you're talking about, Papa.
Papa was a rolling stone.
It's Tuesday in Australia right now. It's Tuesday right now. We still are working on getting Daniel Green in here. We are trying to figure out when that will work. We haven't talked in a minute, but we are going to make it work. We might have to do a later night or a Saturday morning or something for me, but we will get Daniel Green on JA debates. He has a way with talking to people that is unmatched, I think. He has just the perfect way of communicating. Some people you can't communicate with, but if they're possible to communicate with, Daniel Green is...
let me tell you a story about Daniel Green since nobody's in the box. This is what I was going to tell you about Fredo and Daniel Green earlier. So he was saying to Daniel Green, like, what if you found out without any, 100% for sure that Jesus was real? What would you do then, Daniel Green? And Daniel Green said, oh, well, I would have some questions for him. And he was like, no, you can't ask him questions. And he was like really upset that that's what Daniel would do. Like that and so he goes, well, what if you knew you ask him questions about this, that, or the other thing, and then he goes, well, no, you knew everything. And he just kept adding on, moving the goalpost over and over again. And then he said, would you then hate, would you then denounce the LGBTQIA and this and that and da-da-da-da-da? And Daniel said, what you're asking me, Fredo, is what if I was exactly like you? And then, Fredo, if I was exactly like you, yes, I would believe exactly like you because I would be exactly like you. But then that's what would happen if you didn't believe and you were exactly like me, Fredo. You wouldn't believe. So, and then that just made him so mad. That's when he started saying he was gaslighting and stuff. It was just, what are you doing? It was so ridiculous.
Fredo is he drives me nuts when he's up with Daniel most of the time. But I haven't talked to Fredo myself in a long time, and I was like, maybe it'll work, and it did not.
No, you really haven't talked to him for a long time. Somebody said something to me last night. They're like, do you know Fredo or whatever? And I said, yeah, he's been on the show before. We've met.
It's been a long time, so I thought maybe...
He didn't like it that we called him Greg, did he?
No. No Degree doesn't like it when you call him Matt either.
Well, he's the one who slipped up and did it. What he did was he was like, you're going like this. You're going Greg, blah, blah, blah. And then he realized what he did. Like, he said his own name, and then he was like, uh-oh, And we were like, oh, is it Greg? Is it Greg the Gaslighter? Is that who you are?
It's Greg. Guys, we are at almost 5,000 views on TikTok, which is awesome. With Justin, we got to 6,500. So, for not having Justin here, we have done amazing over on the YouTube. On the TikTok, we've done well as well. Comparatively so to past lives. So I appreciate you guys. Right now we're only at 38, but we have a lot of competition and it's hard to compete with Justin. It just is.
It is.
Especially when me and him are very similar in our debate tactics.
Yeah, what the topics especially too. You guys go over a lot of the same, Bible verses and so forth. Very similar, so.
But I do appreciate you guys being here, those of you that are still with me. Let's see here. If you disagree with the background, come up, talk to me and Crystal. We would love to have at least one more conversation before the time expires, and I'm sure the people in chat would love to see one more conversation as well, before we run out of time. I do appreciate you guys tapping the likes like that. We are already almost to 60,000. Amazing. Since last time I checked. That is awesome. Let me see here. Maybe we can do this. I'm trying to think if I'm on what account I'm on, because it might kick me off the live if this computer is hooked up to this account. No, I forgot. This computer sucks. Guys, if you are not following Crystal, she does have a lot of upcoming things for people that weren't here just a few minutes ago. Make sure on YouTube you're helping her get to her 1,000 subs over there. Thank you guys so much. I am almost to 2,000 subs on and that is awesome. I appreciate you all.
Just go ahead and brag about it, man.
I will. I have better fans than you.
You've got wild people who follow you, sir.
That is true.
Sometimes I feel like I'm walking into a barroom brawl when I walk into your chat.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I get the crazy. I do not understand.
You do.
I feel like there are many people that deserve crazies more than me, but I get all of the crazies.
You do.
Let's see here.
I'm crazy for being so lonely.
Guys, thank you for all of those likes. Let me see here. Somebody asked me to ask Amir if he is a flurf. Amir, if you're in here, I do have a question if you are a flat earther or not. After the conversation with Joel, I'm not sure that he will or is here. Because Joel was not near as nice as I normally am.
Was there a flurf on Joel's live earlier?
No, when Joel was up with me, there was a guy named Amir that kept coming up on the show, and he was more of like a deist and just a Phil bro, and like I think that he actually presented decent ideas, but they were all like not very founded, I don't feel, and Joel just kept harping on it, and I don't think Amir liked that too much, just the constant no. But there are a few occasions.
Whose live I was watching last night. Whose live was it? Daniel's? I don't remember now, but it's in Bad Bible Debates where I brought it up, but at the Discord. But there was some live I was in, and there is somebody in the community. Like I know you've seen them around in chat. I'm not going to say their name right now, but anyway. They were so mad that this one guy said that he was an agnostic atheist. And the person who's mad is an atheist, okay? And he would not stop going after the agnostic atheist in chat the entire night. They were just like, so what, are you scared of monsters? I'm like, why do you think they're scared of something? What are you talking about? Why are you going after this person? He goes, because for 2,000 years, this world has believed some bullshit or whatever. I'm like, what does that have to do with an agnostic atheist? It was because he's a Christian. I'm like, what? He really thinks that if you say, I don't believe in a God, but I can't prove there's not a God, that you're still a Christian or something. And the guy told him all night, dude, I don't believe in a God. What is the problem? You saw it too, Jeffro? Wasn't that wild? He would not calm down. Then they went to Thinkers Live and he started it in there with somebody else. I'm like, what?
An agnostic atheist means you don't believe in God, but you aren't making a positive claim that there is no God. It means you don't have the evidence to provide that there absolutely isn't a God, but you do not believe in a God. That would be an agnostic atheist. NTF, what is your age and are you a Christian?
Yes.
Yes, your age? Yes is your age?
You asked if I was a Christian, not my age.
What's your age?
I'm 18.
Yes,
when were
you
are.
Born? I could tell.
I know, right? Yes. I think it was Dan's live too. like towards the end of the live. I was just, and it was somebody like I had been in chat with so many times that I thought was cool. But last night I was like, dude, what are you doing? And I started off very nice with him. I'm like, do you understand what agnostic atheist is? Because I thought maybe they just don't understand. But he was like, yes, I understand. Is he agnostic to leprechauns? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is wild. I go, can you prove there is no God? He said, of course I can't prove there is no God, but I don't believe there is one. Congratulations. You're an agnostic atheist.
Yeah. I would say that I've become more and more just flat atheist over time, but I would say that most of my arguments that God don't exist in general are going to be very based on a person's personal beliefs on what the word God means. Because it's impossible for one argument to cover every God.
That's why you're coming over to the atheist side. I heard you talking to Joel.
No, I definitely am more and more like nobody worships the same God. There's not a single person that worships the exact same God.
And there are people who adamantly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that a shoe can be God. I mean, there's people out there really believe that shit, you know? So, NTF, you were disconnected because you are not 18. And if you are 18, you do not sound 18 nor act 18. And I'm not talking to somebody's kid tonight. We've already talked to too many kids tonight.
Yeah, too many youngins tonight. It was hard to have any like intelligible conversation. Not understanding simple concepts. It's hard to like have these conversations with people that are under like really 25, but the problem is I don't get enough flow to take them.
No, I take 18 and over also, Mike, because I don't get enough ops for me to be picky on like that. But, Joyful, I think that the biggest takeaway I have tonight and what I'm really going to, meditate on and look more deeply into is the fact that, I don't know, math is in everything. So that could be God.
Math is in Checkmate, atheists.
Checkmate.
My favorite of the night is you're atheist, so you don't have morals. That was my favorite thing said tonight. I will stand by it. Yeah. I will stand by it. Trans people have been mean to me. Why were they mean to you, bro? And by your avatar, I'd say you're a kid.
And just like any gang of trans people walking down the street.
And just like anybody, any person group, there are going to be people like they aren't all like the same. All atheists aren't the same. All Christians aren't the same. All Muslims aren't the same. I don't know. I argue atheism with absolutely no Bible knowledge, and it's really fun to just shrug.
That's cool.
They do. They would get mad when I would ask them what are their thoughts on the puberty blocker data.
That's because you're probably talking out your butt, and that's why they're getting mad. That's not bullying or being mean to you. That's them having more knowledge than you. Get over it. You just came in here to be transphobic. That's what you did.
Puberty blockers are not an issue. They pose, like their risks are, like, very minimal in comparison to a lot of other drugs that people take from over the counter. Like, seriously. Oh, well, they probably just assumed that you were being transphobic by the question. Were you in the chat or were you up on the panel? Would also, because drive-by people come in and ask questions, but they're never, usually not well, like,
Well intended.
Since they're usually not well intended when people ask.
Yeah, that's probably why, bro. You got a question, somebody's up on a panel, request up. You're 26 years old, get up there and ask the question. Be grown and have a conversation. You sit down there and chat, we can't tell your intentions, we can't tell your tone. We don't know whether you're being sarcastic, hostile, or whether you're being genuine. We can't tell because it's just text on a screen, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slice, are you coming up to tell us something, to talk to us? You can try, but sometimes, yeah, when I'm walking, I don't have a very good connection.
I agree, overly polite rebel. Sometimes educating yourself is better than asking somebody that may take it the wrong way through a chat. We got Slice. Zan, you are welcome to come up and tell us how God exists. I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can't really hear you. Can you talk up a little bit?
How's that?
That's better.
So I actually just started listening to the Atheist Lives about 40 days ago. I came across Daniel's by accident and have become extremely addicted because I was raised Baptist, so I know that side of this whole thing. But I'm myself, I'm not Baptist. What I was wanted to share, and I wanted to ask you guys for your opinion because I've been there's only a few people that I talk to, uh, sharing what I've learned and stuff like that. And I happened to talk to somebody the other day, an older person, and she was talking a lot about God and faith in God and all that stuff. And she's like, "Well, what do you believe?" And I said, "Well, I believe in source is energy, or like you would call God. I believe that's energy." And so of course she had a lot of questions, and I'm not half as studied as any of you, so I'm constantly learning on all of these lives. I'm learning the Bible that I was taught, which is pretty interesting. Um, but she questioned. Um, Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's the first time I've ever done this, so.
Okay,
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
She questioned, because she was raised Catholic or whatever, and I understand there's a lot of similarities in all the Christian faiths, and she questioned, well, God knows everything, beginning to end, you know. So how can you not believe in God? And this is kind of where I wanted to bounce the idea off you guys and get your opinion, because what I said to her is, well, we can go with that and we can follow it, and that's what I was taught too. God knows everything. You can't, there is no in between if you claim God knows everything. There is no option of free will. And of course, I use all of the arguments that are common in, Joel's and Mezzo and um, the ones I've heard here and Crystal. Sorry, Jay, I just started following you like the last few days,
Oh, you're
so
fine.
I like I'm still learning all of you guys. But yeah, kind of used those kind of arguments. And shit, I lost my point. That's where I was.
You were talking to her about how God knows everything from
Oh,
the beginning to
sorry.
end.
Yes, I'm sorry. Like I said, it's my first time, so um. I said we can go with that if God knows everything. Well, then I went on the explaining of free will and how there is no free will. That's just obvious. You can't have free will and then no beginning to end in somebody's life. There you can't. There is no free will. You know exactly what that person's gonna do. They don't have a choice in what they're gonna do. They don't have a choice to change it. So how's it a free will? And I've heard a lot of the back and forth arguments from Christians and Baptist Catholics, all the different when it comes up in all these lives, and she's like, well, of course we have a free will, what I mean? So this person was in their, I want to say, late 70s, raised Catholic, and then somewhat a Catholic person, in her adult life and older years, you know. So she's like, well, how can you say that there isn't a free will? So we went over that, and I explained it, and she's like, well, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, of course it does. And this is kind of what I wanted to bounce off you guys, and I'm a little nervous because I'm gonna share something that's a little bit personal, but um, I was, like I said, I was raised with in deep in the Baptist church, uh, many times a week, and all the different services and church school and all that crap.
Yeah.
And um, I was always told that God has a plan for your life. So it was obviously the goal for every parent raising their children that um, their child would become a minister or a minister's wife, or something to do with the church. That was pretty much what the expectancy of what everybody was. By 9, I decided that the show wasn't for me and just was a rebel, so I wasn't about it. Obviously, I still dealt with it until I was 17. Um, but yeah, I was told all my life that God had a plan for us. God knows all beginning to end. He knows everything, which always confused me. I constantly got kicked out of church and school, um, Sunday school, and for just asking questions, that don't make sense.
Yeah, they don't want you to
Just
ask questions.
no, just basic questions like, this doesn't line up, that doesn't line up, that's unfair. And I totally agree with damn near every point that is made um, from the hosts and stuff on these lives. It's been really cool to learn. Um, but the bottom line is that trying to bounce off of you guys is, so she asked me, you know w- she was really stuck on the God knows everything and God has a plan for each of us. And I said, okay, he does. And according to God's plan, I was supposed to be raised where I was. I would have had a perfect start to the Baptist world and become a Baptist minister and all that. I should have been a preacher. Should have been something along those lines. She's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, God knows beginning to end. Obviously, that didn't happen. I moved out at 17 and I went far from religion and stayed that way. My point to her, because I know that I know there's different sects of everything and how people teach the Bible, but I was
Yep.
taught that um, there's only a set number of souls. Okay, so there's only a set number of souls that God created when He created the world and all that. So
Okay.
there is no new souls. Um, there's just souls waiting in heaven, and that's what a birth is. That's a soul from heaven or whatever. But there is no, God doesn't create new souls, and that was drilled in. Um, I don't have anything to back that up because didn't care to I didn't care to really learn any of it. But I actually learned
Yeah.
more now in the last 40 days than I did in 20 years, 15, 18 years, 17 years stuck in this stuff. So what I pointed out to her was, if God's perfect plan, if I went against God's perfect plan, which would be uh, pretty much provably obvious by anybody that was in the church, and they would say I'm backslidden or I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different words for people who don't believe or follow Christianity anymore, and there's all kinds of Christian slang for that. Um, but nevertheless, if there is a plan that's perfect, if there is a God that's all knowing, beginning to end, knows everything, there's nothing surprises, nothing, that means that he knows every little thing. And this is what I'm going to be honest with is I'm embarrassed. I have more than one uh, baby's mama. I'm not like proud of that, but I do have more than one. And I'm sure that that wasn't in God's plan. And so when I was talking to her, I was like, so I have four kids. I said, so that's four souls. If I'm not following God's plan, and even if since how I was taught, there's no new souls, how or and where did those souls come from? From the four kids that I have, because they're not in God's plan, and therefore there isn't a plan from them from God because they weren't in the plan for me. And if I wouldn't have happened, they wouldn't exist. So either way you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. And I just kind of wanted to get your you Jay and Crystal's opinion and see like kind of like what would you have to say about that?
Do you want me to tell you what I would have said as a Christian?
Well, I know if you're a Christian,
All things work
I
towards the glory of God for those who are called according to his purpose, dude. Even if you think you're not a part of God's plan, you're a part of God's plan. That's
right.
the plan, man.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just playing with you.
No, I know. To which which the lady I was talking to, she kind of referenced that, and I was like, okay, but that would mean that obviously, having a couple babies mamas, that doesn't follow the church rules or the Bible rules, depending on how you look at it, especially from the Baptist point of view. And I'm like, again, so I would have had to completely disobey the Bible's rule, God's laws, whatever you want to call it, to get to where I am today. And there is absolutely no way that God's plan could be counting on the fact that I'm going against what his plan is, and that's his chosen
But the
path for
Bible
me.
says that is a part of his plan. You know that, right?
Well, right, and I get
The Bible
it,
says that he literally designed some people for destruction. That when he was making whatever this god awful master plan is, that some of us would become atheists and go against him as part of the plan.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind that if I'm talking to a Christian about because I've done things that you brought up having different baby mamas, which I personally, as long as you aren't neglecting your children, I mean, it is what it is. It's part of life choices, all that stuff. I don't know the situations. I'm just saying sometimes that just happens in life, and that's just part of life. There's no reason to be ashamed of that necessarily. But having said that,
yeah, at this point in life, I definitely don't regret any of them ever being born. I love every one of them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Like no end. So yeah, there's no regret there.
So, for me, God's plan, I don't know, it's hard because there's parts of the Bible that would make you think that God's plan is constantly going, and everything works according to God's plan and everything. But then you have parts of the Bible, like in Ephesians, he says he conforms all things to work according to his will. So that would imply that you do things and he has to make it work along with like your choices he has to make fit into the mold somehow. So there's
Right.
these different ideas in the Bible. So talking to a Christian about like God's plan, it's really a hard discussion to have from Christian to Christian.
Yeah,
That
because
was
it's
a
one of those. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's very obscure in scripture, and even as a Christian, I was a Calvinist. I believed 100% that God chose who was going to be saved, who was going to hell before the foundation of the earth,
Oh,
and
sure, like the
he,
144,000 and all that kind of idea.
yep.
Okay, yeah.
And so I believed in all that when I was a Christian, but I had a lot of friends that didn't because of these other verses that would make you think that it's probably not it. Yeah, it's just very nuanced. It's hard to have those conversations. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't really have a defined answer for you on that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's an interesting, it was like I said, I don't really talk to anybody about my personal beliefs. I'm kind of quiet about it for my situation at the moment. And it
that's
was
fair.
it was just kind of awkward because she was being really open and just talking stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, what's the law? It's okay, let's go with this. And so it was kind of a challenge for me to go over what I believe and what kind of facts that I can use to um, kind of portray what I believe. So yeah, I guess I was just kind of looking for your guys' point, and that's a good point. I can definitely see that argument being used. That answer from the Christian realm is going to be that BS answer that I got kicked out of Sunday school and church for many times. Like when you ask something, they say, well, you don't question God, or, you know, God did that. That's it. That's the end of it. Well, okay, that's great and all. I want to know, the why. I want to know the how or whatever. And man, as soon as I start being, a kid about it, I'm talking like from 6 years old on, I was constantly in trouble asking these kind of questions, and
Yeah.
and they always shut it down with, well, God, God is all knowing. You that's all you need, basically all you need to know. And I was like, that's, and by the time I was 13, I was just like, that's not a freaking answer.
And it's
So
not. But it's all that Christians have is they have to prioritize scriptures that fit what they've been taught, and you'll see that. Like my friends that I still know to this day that are Calvinists are going to hold up the scriptures like Romans 9, and where Jesus says, "No man comes unto the Father unless I draw him," or "No one comes unto me unless the Father draws him." They'll use a bunch of those, but then you have verses like what I brought up earlier that people on the opposite side of the aisle, so they just prioritize these
yeah.
different verses and kind of just the other verses. I just don't know what it means. I see through a glass dimly.
Hmm.
God knows why these don't go together, but I don't quite understand it. But I'm going to give preference to this because I like it better, is what it really boils down to.
Yeah,
What they're more
But
comfortable with.
there's also just so many problems with so much of what they say, like God knows everything. Does he though? Does he really? Because I'm just saying, according to his Bible, he doesn't though. He doesn't know if Sodom and Gomorrah really need to be dealt with. He needs to go down and check that out for himself. He also doesn't know that chariots of iron will defeat him. He doesn't know that when he is going to make this deal with Nebuchadnezzar to go in and take out like Tyre or whatever, that they have moved all their treasures and he's going to write a check that he can't cash. So,
yeah,
does he really know everything? I don't think he does. I don't think
yeah.
so.
I agree 100%. Um,
Well,
think, oh, sorry,
well,
my
so
time's up, isn't
I do
it?
have somebody in the guest box, so I
Okay.
am going to drop you back down. Do you have any final things to say?
No, just thank you for having me up. Thank you for listening. Thank you both of you for the live tonight, and appreciate both of you, and obviously the rest of the crew. I'm just thankful.
Right
We'll
on.
see
Well, I
you in
appreciate you, Slice. I hope to see you around. Are you part of the Discord?
No, just TikTok.
All right, so just putting this out there, the Discord's a really good way to chat with people. They have people go live on there just within our group, and they have discussions and things like that. It's a really good resource for people like with questions and things. Just maybe look into the Discord. It's
the
Deconstruction
links in my
Junction, and yeah, the links in Crystal's bio. So if you're ever interested in that option is out there as well. Have a great night, man.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, let's see. We got Fredo. You're not coming back up. You wouldn't answer questions. You just ran the whole time and expected other people to do your heavy lifting. It's not gonna work. Empty.
I didn't mean to chase your guest away. I just wanted to pop in and say
Nick!
hello. I miss you guys, and I love you. And
Nick, I love you.
I love you, Nick. I am so glad that you stopped in. Empty, I should say.
I did that in Rabbi Hannah's live too. Somebody was like, Nick, and I'm like, where?
Well, I am glad to hear from you. I actually called Crystal the other day to ask about you, if she's heard from you. So I'm glad.
So funny because Rabbi Hannah did the same. I guess everybody's like getting the same message. Y'all should talk to Nick or something. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah, it's God. It's God putting you on our soul.
Yeah.
Like he was just putting you in our hearts, and he was telling us to reach out.
Well, I hope all is well, my friend.
Getting there. Hopefully.
Nice. Are you still working on school?
I am. Yeah. We're
good.
getting started up with classes here again soon, and I've been studying through the summer as well, just to keep my brain going. But yeah, still doing it.
Fredo, I'll tell you what, I'll let you up if you promise right now you're going to define good with something other than God. Like an actual definition of good. But that is the only way you're coming out.
You're asking a lot out of Fredo, I'm just saying.
No, I know.
Hey,
Daniel
Green.
Daniel Green says, hi, Fredo, nice to see you. Daniel's too
I know,
nice.
he's so nice.
I
Daniel
know.
Green is so nice. Daniel, I was nowhere near as nice to Fredo today as you were to him yesterday. Just want you to know, I didn't live up to trying to be like you.
We could all use being a little more like Daniel, for sure.
I need just like a quarter of his patience. That's all I need. Just a quarter.
I like how Fredo says and to you too, but earlier he was calling Daniel a gaslighter.
Yeah, he's like, Daniel's such a gaslighter. That's how he talks. Did you like my impression?
I did.
Gaslighter. Well, I'm gonna pop back down, but I just wanted to. I saw you were live and wanted to pop up and say hi and send my love.
Well, it was nice to hear from you.
We
Make
love
sure
you,
to
Nick.
pop in more.
I
See you, friend.
shall endeavor. Take care, guys.
Bye. Daniel says that's
Nick.
crazy because I'm always trying to be more like Fredo. That's funny.
I talk shit
not
on the
the
internet
truth.
about everybody I love, so you're right, Fredo.
Fredo, I watched the whole show. I watched what you were doing to Daniel. I saw the whole thing.
Fredo just he can't be honest for like a second of his life. I'm not sure he's ever said anything 100% honestly.
It always makes me sad when somebody's like that too, because the reality is that they're lying to themselves. So you wonder how many other things they lie to themselves about, and that has to be harmful to your whole existence if you're constantly lying to yourself just to survive, you know?
True. True. There was a point in time where I saw Fredo and I thought maybe he is being honest and trying to learn. But more often than it quickly devolved right back to same old Fredo. Guys, we have 25 minutes left. You guys almost got me to my 100,000 like goal. If you guys could get me there in the next 25 minutes, I would appreciate you so much. Over there on the YouTube, make sure before you leave today, we are going to do a Justin raid, but make sure we do, make sure to thumbs up over there, like this live stream, and definitely make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We do this every Monday and Thursday evening with different hosts. We got me and Dugald this Thursday, and then Monday will be Crystal J, and she will have a co-host with her. Monday I will not be here, and then the Thursday after we have, I do believe, Lobes? No, we have Atheistic Preacher. It's gonna be a good time. I've never code.
Love AP.
What?
I said I love AP.
Yeah, I've never co-hosted with him. I've went up on his live a couple times, but I've never co-hosted with him. So it should be interesting, and I do love AP. So hopefully that goes well. And we just have a lot of good people in the lineup. We got Tiny Smaws and Hammy will be a duet here on AP, or on AP, JA Debates. We just have a lot of wonderful people coming through, and it's been an amazing first month. We went through our first month of JA Debates, and it went amazingly, and it continues to. I appreciate, and we can't do it without you guys in the chats, tapping the likes, hitting the share button, and following. You guys make our shows what they are.
Hey, here's my schedule. Here's what's going on in my neck of the woods. Tomorrow at something like 3 something, I don't remember. We got Fee, Macluster, and Lortz on Decon Q&A with Crystal J. They are the best panelists on the entire app, and they are just the smartest people, the funniest people. And if you love them and you want to show them support, make sure you join me and come and ask your questions. Of course, we will be playing Divine or Decline because everybody loves it. And then, let's see, Wednesday, of course, I have Non-Believers Bible Study at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Listen, I don't wake up this early, people. I have Matthew discussing beliefs. I love him. If you don't know him, you should be following him. But I'm getting up early for him. That's how good he is. Okay, you guys? And then Friday, none other than the big man himself, Deconstruction Zone Justin. So, you guys should be following me. If you're not subscribed to YouTube, you should do it. What? You should do it because I'm a nice lady.
That is true. Crystal is mean, but she's also nice. She's mean, but she's also nice, guys. You just got to know both sides of her. To Fredo, Crystal is mean. To some people, Crystal is nice.
I am kind of mean to bigots. I've got to say, it's kind of a weird personality trait that I'm not very. No bark, no bite. Did you hear it, Doug?
All bark, no bite.
Yeah.
And also, make sure that you follow Crystal because she does do debate lives herself. They're not as often as the other lives that she mentioned, but she does do them, and they are very well put together. I love watching them.
Conversations with Crystal J and Christians right now. It's Crystal J, Conversations with Christians. And my topic lately has been, what if you're wrong? And we're talking to Christians about what that means, because they like to ask us, what if we're wrong? And then they say, you'll go to hell if you're wrong. But nothing bad is, comes from me believing in Christianity. And the fact of the matter is that I disagree. So that's our topic. I will be doing more of those in the second week of September. I'm just booked too much this week with Decon Q&A.
Guys, if there's anybody that disagrees, thinks that God does exist, and wants to show us how we are wrong, come up into the box and we can talk about it. Unless your name is Fredo, because you've already been removed once. I don't take repeat guests in the same live, so maybe better luck next time if my co-host, but I will just simply let my co-host talk to you.
Also, if you just want to define good and you want to start right there, you can come up, but you've got to come up and define good.
Without using the word God in the definition. That might be hard for you. Because that definition is a conversation ender. That's all that is. It just simply is, nope, we're not really going to talk about what is good.
Joyful Doug said that Doug is good.
Doug is good. Doug may like to know in the description on our YouTube that the YouTube is powered by Doug. It's in the description.
I like that. Does like that. The Doug in man form, as I call him, it approves.
Oh no, P-Mars. Yeah, P-Mars likes to hang out here. P-Mars found my backup. Or my new account, I should say.
I really like it when people come up and talk to us for the first time. So I'm glad you came up, Slice. It makes me feel like you feel comfortable, and that makes me feel good. That you feel comfortable enough with us to be the first place you join a live. That really is nice.
Absolutely. Number one priority on this live is to help people that are deconstructing. We do want to have conversations with theists, but I do always allow friendlies. The time limit on them is much shorter. I usually go 30 minutes with a theist unless it's going really well, and then I add 15 minutes. But atheists, I usually put like a 5-minute timer on, because just people get bogged down and we start losing viewers and all that sort of thing. So we do want to keep conversations, but I do want to field questions for people that are deconstructing as well.
Hi, Zename.
Thank you, Zename.
Another great creator on this app. If you guys aren't following Zename, grab her right there and follow her.
Absolutely. Tap your screen like the Holy Ghost did Mary. Amen, buddy. Guys, if you are subscribed to my other account, get rid of that subscription. Subscribe over here. Or if you have some extra coin and you're not subscribed, it is much appreciated if you do subscribe. It does help my channel a lot. The more subscriptions I get and things like that. TikTok wants to push my stuff, the more money I'm making them. So more than it financing me, it helps the channel and it finances TikTok, to be honest. But same with YouTube. If you guys can afford a membership, it does help us creators get pushed out into the algorithm and get more exposure if people are getting memberships and getting subscriptions and things like that. It's just something I'm putting out there. If you don't got the coin to do it, I understand. It's not a big deal. But if you do and you like the content, it is a good way to support the channel. We got 15 minutes left. I don't think we're going to get any more theists, though, unfortunately. I wanted one more good discussion, and we just can't. Do you see deconstruction as a process that could result in a stronger faith, or does it necessarily end with a non-Christian belief? I think if you are truly deconstructing, most of the time it is going to end with a disbelief. There will be people that use deconstructing as a faith booster by getting rid of a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it boosts their faith, it is because it literally changes the way they believe. It is no longer the belief they had before. I really don't know anybody who is honestly deconstruct and is doing it in an honest way, who goes away and says, I still believe exactly how I believed before.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to change a lot of the ways you think, regardless.
100,000 likes. Way to go,
100,000
everybody.
likes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. That is our goal every time. I didn't think we were going to make it, but you guys pulled in right at the end. You pulled it out, and that is always what we like. You got to pull out right at the end. Submit, warrior of Jesus. Just try one more time to believe in God.
Okay, I'm going to try right now. Wait, let's try right now, Joyful. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I can't do it.
I tried so hard, I was shit. It didn't work.
It kind of sounded like that's what I was doing, but I was not. I was trying really hard.
Please, real quick. You didn't do it right. Go, hey.
Yeah. I still don't believe I just did a hey and it didn't work. What if I sing Jesus Loves the Little Children? Will that make it work? No, that's a racist song. I'm not going to sing that song.
Do. Jesus loves little children.
Yeah. I remember even as a kid, I thought that song was weird. And I went to my mom and I'm like, Mom, why does it say red and yellow, black and white in the song? And she said, for like the different color of people. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, who is red and yellow and black and white? Like, what are you talking about? And she said, oh, red is for, she said the word that I'm not going to say, Native Americans, and black is for, black people, and yellow is for Asian people. And I thought as a kid, I'm like, what is she talking about? Nobody are those colors. Like we literally are not those colors. We're like pink to like a dark brown. What are they talking about? Like,
yeah, it's
so
wild.
Racist.
Yeah, it's very discriminatory. I mean, I think that just is what it is.
Christ first, come on up. Tell us about how God is real.
Be our last guest, Christ first. I sent you an invitation. Be our last guest.
First shall be last. Yeah, you get my joke.
I did. It was clever. Crystal, what do you call a spider with 8 eyes and...
What do I call a spider with 8 eyes?
Yeah.
Frank, what do you call him?
A spider. My brother-in-law told me that the other day, and he like died laughing, telling me, and I was like, "Nice."
You know what, Joyful? These two guys walked into a bar. Mm-hmm. You would have thought the first guy would have seen it. I mean, the second guy would have seen the first guy do it.
True. Have you noticed the shift from the miraculous act of the great flood to there's water in the earth?
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Christ first, I sent you an invite. You could come up and let us all know to quit mocking you. God wants us to mock you for not coming up. You do have access, or I would not be able to invite you. It's funny how Christians are so okay with lying, even though that's like a damnable sin. I don't know
Damnable.
that. Yeah, I have a hard time with
Just
the
to
word
make
sometimes.
sure that you can come up, we'll get a few people to follow you just because you only need like 2. I'm going to follow you right now. Somebody else follow Christ first. You can block him later if you want. But somebody else follow him, and then he'll have a couple of followers, and then there's no reason he won't be able to come up. See, you have 1 follower. Anybody else going to do it? He only needs like 2, I think, to be honest.
I followed him. All right, well,
All
I'm
right,
gonna
there
invite
go,
you
Christ
again.
first. You now have access. Come and cook us. Cook us, crispy. Yeah, how come the Holy Spirit doesn't just pop you up here? What are you talking about? If you don't have access, who can have access? If God is not with you, you know what I mean? Like, if God is with you, you should have access to any TikTok, right?
The Holy
Like, you have
Spirit
the
will,
Holy Spirit.
he's gonna
Kara
deliver
even
you to all
followed you.
truth,
Kara
and
Jane sacrificed herself and followed you. You now have 5 followers. Come on up. I can't invite people anymore. I can't see the guest box anymore. Did
Are you
you take
serious?
away my privileges?
I don't think so. Rev Chad
Oh,
said
maybe
that.
I never had them on this account though.
All right, let me see.
Maybe I just had regular ones on this account or something.
Let me see.
Because I usually don't come on this account with you until you did the GA debate.
Everything is turned on for you. Every single thing.
Okay, I don't know why I can't see it.
Yeah, Rev Chad was telling me on this account he can't mute people. He can only block them or something like that. I don't
Liz, we need God mod.
God mod. Liz, I don't know that I don't know what's going on. I promise. You guys have everything is turned on. The same as the other account.
Yeah, sure, Joyful.
Okay, I'm gonna screenshot it and text it to you.
You're just afraid that I'll just bring up like randos. Jesus on toast is not enough because one time I made a grilled cheese sandwich and I saw Weird Al in my grilled cheese. And after that,
Weird
I
Al?
realized it just doesn't matter. You're always going to see somebody in your toast.
Yeah.
It's like clouds, you know? You're always going to be able to see something in your clouds, right? You can always see something in your toast.
Always. There's always something in your toast.
These are great things that you guys can put on t-shirts. There's always something in your toast. Put that on a t-shirt.
There is always something in your toast. Ezekiel bread. There you go. Guys, I think it's 9:23. Think it's close enough to time. We are going to call it a night. Go raid Justin. Make sure to let him know that it is a raid from JA Debates or Joyful, either way. And you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you
Joyful, thanks
Thursday.
for having me.
Is way more intense. So ask your doctor, and if he gives you the go-ahead, this is the one that I would go with. I love hopping on when I feel overstimulated or anxious. It helps me breathe better and shift my focus. Lindsay, one